question.
I'm chowing down a little bit still. So
No, it's fine. Okay, so before or between the dinner and the parlay, will we all be sleeping for the night? Like, is the
you
parlay happening the next day or is it happening after dinner?
you said you wanted it like right away, so I was assuming it would happen after dinner. But if
But
you guys
that's
want to
also
wait a
kind of
day,
depending on the host, how
yeah,
the host wants to arrange it.
yeah. If you guys want to wait a day, I it sounded like you guys were kind of demanding it, so I was assuming it was taking place this evening. If you guys want to take a take a night's
I
rest, you certainly can.
I think in character, Mara and Luthien were probably the only ones who are kind of like, yeah. Well, actually, I don't want to speak for Luthien because he's not here and he didn't necessarily say either way because that's how Luthien is. But like, Mara's willing to meet with these people. So basically, does the host of the home feel like he needs us as unruly guests to wait a bit so he can watch us, or are we all deciding that tomorrow is okay? Because I'm not sure if anyone was necessarily in a rush for this besides knowledge about the right knife.
Okay.
So
So
anyone else speak up as well about this
yeah,
timing
so
as
I'll let
well.
you guys determine this as a party because my impression was that you guys were insisting on this parlay, so he was kind of rushing to do it. If you guys are not in a rush, he will not rush it. So it's going to be up to you guys to set the pace for when you want this to occur.
We all should. Well, actually, I would like to hear from everyone else before we officially decide the timing. There are a lot of things at stake here.
In character, I think we should probably do it now because I wouldn't feel right. I don't want something to go wrong in the middle of the night between both parties. Like somebody can mess it up and cause like somebody to run away or to hide or ditch something that we actually were looking for. The less time in between for something bad to happen, the better.
I agree with Storm. Ice would push for that also because these people have already run and done dodgy shit, so she doesn't trust them.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
if we're pushing for an accelerated timeline, Mara would absolutely push for that as well if that's how she felt the group was leaning towards.
Unless somebody needs something from a long rest or a short rest, that would be the only reason not to do it now.
I don't think anyone's used anything.
Yeah, the only things I've used were like cantrip and at will things, so I wouldn't need any sort of rest. So yeah, if we want to get this over with tonight, let's fucking jump into it. We also just don't get time to confirm on characters. So let's see how that goes.
You guys certainly would have some time to confer as he goes up and makes the arrangements. You guys finish the dinner, so I'll say he's headed upstairs. So you guys will have a little bit of time to confirm, and Badak will you know, speak to you all and say, "Well, I think it's best that I not be here if you're trying to avoid hostilities
Oh, yeah.
concerning
Oh
the
yeah, no,
You would
honestly,
probably wonder why
Badak,
you were
if
here.
yeah, if you could just like wait outside, like we're still super cool with you. And if we can smooth this all out, then you'll have two employers instead of one, which is great for freelance. Um, but yeah, you should probably chill out in the gardens or something.
Can we hide him just in case something happens and we need him?
If something happens and we need him, it's probably already too late.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, we've been in various dungeons before. This is kind of no different.
yeah, I think it's best if I just check out for the time being. I'll give you all some space and
Yeah, that's a
you can
pretty good
find me
idea.
when you're ready.
Just
The
like wait
garden just
outside the grounds and like we'll be around. Like you're super useful.
the gardens are a good idea. I might take a beverage to go and enjoy the nature.
Stormblaze walks over to Baddock, slaps him in the face. Be a fucking man. What the hell are you running away for?
I'm not running away. I'm
Stormblaze?
trying to avoid escalating things here further for y'all.
So wait,
Stormblaze,
did he just take a full slap to the face and then just responded like that? Because that's even funnier.
Storm, roll, make an attack roll, an unarmed attack roll if you'd want to. Oh shit!
Damn, don't hurt him.
It's a decent strike, but he's
I'm minus the rage.
yeah.
I'm not that angry yet.
He's barely affected. And you can tell that within about 6 seconds he's completely recovered from your strike. He's not too fussed about it.
Mara stands up and like just Stormblaze just like, okay, so these people literally hired him to kill us. If they see he's on our side, it could like make a weird impression. Honestly, like we don't it's better for him to stand outside and tell our story than die here with us if shit goes down.
I actually think the former. He needs to not be a little bitch and fight with us and trust in us.
Okay, but like literally, we can't throw their own deception in their face like from the get go. I mean, we could. That would be a hell of a power move, and I see where you're coming from. But also, we're trying to make amends with these people because we literally walked into their like shenanigans with no idea what was going on, and now we are intrinsically tangled with them on two different levels at this point, and we should at least try to unknot this before we become intrinsically connected to them on a third level and it becomes fate. We need to try to start walking back what has already happened before this becomes a bigger escalation.
Are you trying to
So
get them in bed?
I'm who said that? Dan? Dan, you don't have an NPC here.
Bedok.
Oh, Badak. No, I'm not trying to get them. I'm not trying to get them to necessarily be allies, but I am trying to unknot the connections we
Tension.
already have that are intrinsically negative.
Oh, so it's like a weird hate thing.
No, it's not a weird hate thing. It's a weird trying to undo miscommunications thing, which is similar, so I can see the confusion.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I don't
Make
hate
make
them.
sure.
I actually know very little about them, and I feel kind of bad about this whole situation, to be honest. I didn't ask enough questions when it all started.
Yeah, you just want to make sure your intentions are clear.
Yeah, exactly. And having you here may put them into a state of mind where they assume things instead of hearing us out.
Your thirsty friend seems to be pretty right. I think you should listen to her. Um, I don't want to escalate things here for you. So I mean,
Stormblaze, just
unless
let
you
him
want to
go.
escalate them.
I just might. But do as you will.
I'm guessing the read he gets from most of the party is not that you guys want to escalate it, that it's mainly Stormblaze.
Yep.
Yep.
Mara's actually gonna walk over to Stormblaze and just be like, "Are you okay, man?"
I'm fine. It's fine.
I didn't mean to like, step over your leadership hierarchy or anything, but I feel like weapons down may be the best choice here.
I don't know. I feel like everybody's goals have changed since we walked into this mansion. First, we were planning on coming here to trade the axe. Turns out he's actually undead. Did you know that? He's undead?
Is he like undead?
He's like undead. And
Is he
looking
saying
at
this
Ice
loud
Rose
enough
and
for the like? I look over to Ice Rose and I turn to Ice Rose. I'm like, is he undead?
he's undead. I got
Not
the axe
Ice
told me
Rose,
before I
I
gave it
know
up.
that you check for that stuff like all the time. Is he undead?
I did not sense any traces of undead beside his servant, any tracks. I don't have an innate sense to identify undead.
Mara's
Are you able to do a check to see if he was that
You
that we saw in the
You
future?
can sense Faithine and undead. Was he
Yes.
undead?
Yeah. So she can track that. I don't know if she has an innate sense, but she would definitely have an intuition. So you can go ahead and roll any of your intelligence checks at advantage. I can't remember which ones are all intelligence, but this would definitely be int based. He was not undead. You are
he's not.
you are pretty dang certain.
Maybe I was mistaken. He might not be undead, but he is
Hold
not
on.
human. And this is what the axe told me before
Stormblaze,
I gave him
hope
away.
you don't feel this is insensitive, but you don't have a lot of spell casting abilities. How do you necessarily know that he's undead? I want to know your logic from this. I want to know how you came to that conclusion.
When before I gave up the axe, it told me that he was not human.
He was not human. He didn't say that he was undead.
Right, my mistake.
Hold on, you're telling me that that man who just fucking ranted for an entire dinner about cutting off humans from the other planes is not actually human?
Mm-hmm.
So, quick just interjection.
Yes, please, Stella, bring some sanity to this.
So, a lot of us aren't human, technically. Stormblaze, you're technically not human. Neither is Ice Rose. Neither am I. Just throwing that out there. We also,
No, you're totally right.
you know, it was the material plane in general, so not technically anything like human centric, just all of us here on this little floating
I'm
island.
totally picking up what you're putting down, but he took
And
the time to disguise himself as a human and then threw down on human vernacular without actually being what he said he was going to be. So I'm actually not upset about the human based part of any of this. It's more the lies, just to make that clear.
sure,
I
but I mean,
don't.
it's not like, you know, we came into his house and tried not to give him something that he paid for. So, you know, I would understand a man for being cautious and maybe not putting all his cards on the table after the stunt we pulled a few hours ago.
Mara's going to turn back to Stormblaze and say, did the axe say human or humanoid?
He is not human.
Okay. I'm gonna take some cues from Stella and calm down a bit because the axe may also be confused.
To be fair, he was pontifying about creatures from other planes, not about race.
Okay, so and Mara's gonna like glance towards the door, like just to make sure no one's about to walk in. Okay, so like we don't necessarily want to fight the cultists, but we want the right knife, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So ignoring the man who may or may not be what he says he is, giving us hospitality. I guess I want to just know like what we're willing Like what do you actually want besides just like the right knife? Like what's on the table to be like opened up with this cult given their grievances against us? Does anyone have any like insight into wiggle room and or blackmail and or any sort of leverage for or against that can
Oh,
be put down?
We have
uh,
information about the Death Knight, who is technically the one that freed their what was the right word for that? See, their
dear
god.
God.
Deity.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's great. We actually have follow-up information about their deity. That's fantastic. Does anybody else have any other insights?
So it sounds like they're here to get rid of the knife to our very powerful wizard friend whom we just sold an axe to. Is there a problem with why we should prevent that?
Well, they stole the knife from us, and at first I thought it was because they had qualms with us about uh with their deity. But if they're just selling it to the highest bidder, I don't that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, maybe they're sick and tired of, you know, chasing us, we chasing them, all this back and forth. Maybe they figured out been about the knife the entire time.
You know, honestly, I don't feel like they actually have strong opinions about the knife either way. It was just something that they could take from us after what happened.
And honestly, a very powerful being, if you want to call him that, is about to get not one, but two powerful artifacts.
Which he is not shown in any way that he's actually gonna do anything with it aside from possibly selling it in the future.
Also, I'm an
I
idiot. I'm casting detect magic right now to check on any scrying spells that may have been around us. I'm so sorry for having gone that far in conversation without doing that.
Okay, let me look up detect magic. Or do you want to just share it in chat?
I just shared it in chat. I just want to know if there's like divination tools in this room, in the dining room, that
So
are
you
like actively being used.
you would actually need see invisibility because it says that
God damn it, my investigation was shit.
yeah, it says faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic.
Hold on, let me just double check that I don't have that as a spell.
There is
I'm an
stuff for me
idiot.
to narrate, but I'm just letting you know for scrying and stuff you would need see invisibility.
Okay. No, I completely understand that. I do not have see invisibility, which is a crying shame. Um, but if you could please describe me the magic in the room that's happening right now.
Yeah. So there's lots that is magical in this place. There's like tea kettles over on the cupboard that are magical. The organ, pipe organ within here is magical. The candelabra, all the flames on it are magic. They're not actually flames. Um there's a lot of magic emanating from the kitchen to the north of you. Um,
Cool.
I think what else? The fireplace is definitely magical. Um,
Okay, that's fine. If
yeah.
Mara just like assumed that this whole house is magical and under surveillance anyway, then this whole conversation would have happened anyway. So continue.
It would be
so
safe to assume, yeah, with everything in here that's magical, that there's probably some uh wards and scrying around.
Yeah.
so I also have a personal interest in keeping the right knife out of the hands of someone who is not an elf.
Why
Uh, uh
necessarily an elf?
yeah,
That
I want
thing
to
has
know.
been used to ritually sacrifice my people in the past.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. So Ice Rose, what do you plan to do with it once you have it?
Bring it back to the elders in my village and have them secure it in a place where no one else can ever use it again.
All right.
Well, is there a way to destroy it?
I would not be opposed to that.
Because if we get it back and we just, because there's plenty of ways to destroy magical items with like, and then you could actually witness it happening. Like we could just get rid of it.
I would not be opposed to that. However, I don't think that if it came into the possession of our host, he would be open to that option.
Well, Black,
Unless
how
we
much
paid
money do
him.
you have? Hold on. If we just straight up outbid this guy for the right knife, Black, how much money do you have?
So Black starts fumbling around in various pockets, a few pockets you didn't know he had. And he says, hold on a second. How much is it? Oh, it's okay, so that's 10 gold pieces. Okay, so not as much as I used to have, that's for sure. And 1,000 less gold pieces than I would have had we just given him his axe. I'm kind of embarrassed to say how little I
Okay.
have, but
Well,
around 1,100 gold pieces on me at the moment.
okay, that's fine. I have more than that. So I think I have a way to buy this item back. Well, buy this item, barter this item, talk this item back. And either way, I'm pretty sure that both us and the cult will walk away satisfied and for the better. And we can get away from this manor without incident. But you guys are going to have to trust me and let me do the talking.
How much gold do you have, Mara?
It's not about gold, Bleck.
No, this is just, I'm just
You
wondering.
can't
I'm
I
curious.
just ask people how much gold they have.
You just asked me how much gold I have.
I know, but if that's all you have, then I have something better.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, I mean, there's more else. No, never mind. Carry on.
I know that there's other things, but those other things you already have contracts for to deliver, correct?
Well,
And we
there's always
shouldn't
more
mess this
gold.
up. Well, it's not the gold. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that we can fix this with the cult while deciding later what to do about this entire manor situation, while also solving Ice's right knife problem.
I cooperate as long as you're willing to help me either get this knife back or have it destroyed.
Yes, but you also have to trust us when we're at the table. No jumping across the table and immediately killing anyone, no yelling at them, no insulting them. Like, if we're going to help you, you have to agree to our terms as well.
I just said that I would as long as the goal is to get the right knife back or have it destroyed.
I can
Yes,
see
but
to
you
it that the Rife Knight is
do.
destroyed. I
Yeah,
can
Thank you.
absolutely promise that.
just saying, you have a tendency to go off on your own and do stuff with. Yeah, whatever.
She's been getting a lot better at that, honestly. And
Eh,
Mara absolutely does say this to Stella as if Ice Rose is not sitting right next to her. It's very
Stella does
rude.
the so gesture with her hand, like. It's okay, but I mean, you know,
Stella, what do you want out of this?
not to get us killed. That's
Fantastic.
basically
That
been
can
my
definitely
goal the
happen.
entire time.
Mara's gonna turn to Black and say, Black, what do you want out of this?
Um, I don't think I should say that out loud, but nothing that conflicts with anything that's been said.
All right, you can keep your secrets. Mara's gonna turn to Naya. Naya, what do you want out of this?
I just don't want everyone to die.
Oh, fantastic. We're already covering those grounds. Stormblaze, what do you want out of this?
I want our shit back.
This is all going fantastically. And then Mara, while patting probably 1,000-mile stare Luthien on the back, just says, see, this is going to go so well. Poor Justin as he walks into this later. I think we are ready for parlay.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna step away for just a minute to put my stuff back in the fridge and grab another beverage. So if we want to reconvene maybe in 8:40, I'll be just a second.
I am also going to walk away for 2 minutes. So have fun.
Okay, I am back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome.
Your
I'm still here.
name's on Look it out.
Orange still here.
I'll wait till I hear from Bray again.
Storm, Ice, are you guys gonna come up and see Justin's show on Saturday?
I'm in Colorado.
Yeah, just come.
It's a quick drive. Just,
It's
like
like a
16, 17 hours.
16-hour drive or so.
Yeah. Well, you guys got to get away from wildfires creeping closer anyway, right?
I wish I could. I need to get away from COVID positive Floridians.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah,
bad on it.
unfortunately, I don't even feel safe going to the airport. And that's
Yeah,
a
no.
2-day
Oh, no.
drive for me.
That's where I
It's a
got
2-day.
COVID.
Yeah, airports are insane.
So
You got COVID at the airport?
Yeah, I got it in
He
LA
doesn't know.
last March. I mean, it's most likely. That's the
Oh.
only place that I went that no one else went with me.
You also
Oh.
worked with a bunch of people who came back from Dubai who were sick at that same time. So
But that was before we went to Hawaii. I didn't have it in Hawaii. For anyone who goes to Justin's thing, I will I'll buy a round of drinks for everybody, and then Ice and Storm, I will owe you a drink when I do meet you in person.
Dude, we all owe each other so many drinks. Like when we get
We're
together, it's gonna be
all
a
gonna
fucking
be
rager.
we're
This
all
is going
gonna
to
be
be
so
as
smashed.
So
So
I
there's like 8 of us, so that's like 8 rounds.
oh, that's trouble.
Let's all agree to not do shots. I'm too old for that shit.
Hopefully by the time we all get together, we'll have a place where we can all just like bring our sleeping bags and just have a giant D&D sleepover.
Yeah, but
Well-
who's gonna do this third watch? That watch sucks.
Who's
watch
gonna do
is-
third watch?
Third watch is always ice.
You know, honestly, if we all get together, we can turn D&D into a LARP and we can all play our characters through a long night session. Like that would be like fun. Like actually getting to know our characters like in person.
Yeah. So a few of us have talked about this, and I hope like things with COVID go well over the next couple months, but what's a couple of us have bounced around is if everyone's feeling safe for traveling in December, would be to rent an Airbnb somewhere in the Chicago area where the people from out of town can stay. And I would probably get a room as well to just get out of the house because I'm living with my aunt right now, and it would be nice to have a mini vacation. And
yeah.
so people could stay in town for as long as they wanted, but we'd probably have a couple days of get together, probably one of D&D and one of just kind of hanging out. Um, so if things go well, we might continue to pursue that.
Yeah, whenever like things align in the perfect universe, I'm down for any sort of impromptu in persons we put together.
Yeah, I was talking to Dan. I think like I want to try to come up for Christmas. I don't know if I'll be driving or flying, but I'll
Because
probably
your
be up in
family's up in this
Wisconsin.
way, right?
Well, my husband's family's up in Wisconsin. That's where we usually gather for Christmas. We missed last year.
Yeah,
Um,
swing in an extended vacation. That's not we can figure something out.
yeah, so we'll
Oh
see. I'll be
yeah.
there for like probably like somewhere between like a week to 10 days, depending on if I'm flying or driving
We'll
up.
give you the good old Midwestern hospitality.
And where in
Um,
Wisconsin?
they're
The
up in Waukesha.
Midwestern hospitality is you can always stay on our couches and brunch is likely involved at some time.
Fantastic. I love brunch.
Yes.
But yeah, so for me, like I will be up there like somewhere around like Christmas, New Year time period. Oh, damn it. I just realized I don't know how long my hamster can survive without us at home.
If you drive, you can just bring the hamster.
It's true.
That's what I was thinking. I wonder if
Just
it
like
would
bring the
survive
Or you
like
can have someone babysit the hamster. That's
I
what I
don't know.
did with my
I
my cat when we had to travel. My brother just came in and gave him food and then left. He was like, "I'm good."
yeah. Well, they would have to like clean the cage and everything, and yeah, that's fine. I'll figure it out. But yes, for me, it's like December, Christmas, New Year-ish time frame if anyone wants to coordinate anything.
Yeah, we'll be around. I mean,
Yeah.
and especially during the holidays, we're usually pretty not busy-ish. Because I don't usually visit family during the holidays. I'll visit them the rest of the year, so we're around.
Gotcha. Oh, will Q be with you at all?
Yeah, she's with me. She's with us Tuesday, Thursdays, Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
We can have Wesley meet up with her then.
Was she with
They're,
us
I think
last year?
they're,
She was with us
I
last year.
think, yeah, I think they're like 2 years apart.
Yeah, she'll be 10 in December.
But people think she's like 13 though.
Yeah, but she's good with kids all ages. Yeah, she looks like a teenager at this point, but she's good with kids all ages, and she just likes to have fun. So that would definitely work.
Gotcha. Yes, sorry to sidetrack the conversation. let's get back to killing people. Oh no, we're parlaying.
No, not killing.
Stop.
Usually,
Love it.
Stella
yes.
has one fear.
Oh
I
man, this is
haven't.
gonna go so good.
Ice has not cast a Crimson right yet, so you're good. At least she
Actually,
gives you a
Ice
warning.
has
There's
been
still
doing
time.
better than all of us right now. I'm pretty sure Ice is the reason why we were even invited to dinner, despite Black's attempts.
I don't know. That's a DM question. But yes.
We're gonna save
that-
it for the end of time.
Yeah.
Mash.
Yeah, that's something to put on your end of campaign wrap up questions list.
Hang on, I'm trying to find where I have my list of questions.
Should we start a new thread, like text channel that's just questions for the DM, and we can just write in.
End of times questions. Like we just have a bunch
End
of
of
questions that
time.
never get answered
I mean
ever.
it would probably make sense to do a Google Doc, a shared Google Doc or something.
That would be so funny. And the funniest
We
part
could.
is, like, this is the kind of campaign that can go for forever. So, like, who's to say when the end is?
And I'll say there's two ways you approach it. You could make it public so that I can see it and I can have those answers ready. But I think it would be more fun if it's private and then I'm caught off guard by those at the end of the session.
Okay, I
There's-
vote that we
Oh.
all make up one question that was never in the campaign at all, and we all have to pretend like we really want to know the answer. It's like a quiz. I'm just kidding. That's cruel, but I would totally do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I can set
Dan,
up.
where
I
did you
can
come
set
up with the voice for? Where did you come up with the voice for Black's mom in that one scene?
Um,
Something
I
like
can-
that, something like that I would know, but if you guys like tried to convince me that there was this one really memorable NPC
Yeah,
that I
that's
had
what I'm
made up on the
thinking.
fly, like, oh, that was so epic, like, where did you come up with that voice and where was that character's backstory from? Like,
We
you know,
never saw him
months
ever
from now,
again. We
yeah,
were
months from
wondering
now,
forever.
I'll have I'm sure I will not remember we've had this conversation and I will not remember that I did not create that character. So
You've had a lot of great NPCs so far, like that wrestling guy on the road. Like I'm gonna forever remember wrestling guy.
I pretty much forgot that guy until you just mentioned him and now I remember.
See, we could easily tell you any NPC and you'd be like, holy shit, did I come up with that?
I do remember details about him though, so I do remember coming up with that.
Okay, so I can make this Google Doc, and since Storm is recording, I can start putting like the session titles in there, and you those of you that were in this campaign before us, give us some rough ideas so that we can, I guess, put it in some sort of chronological order.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time when Storm and Ice weren't in our campaign, so I can't help with that.
We joined right after Mara died.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
you
shit,
joined
yeah.
you joined around that time too, Naya. It's actually a split party. Like it's like pre-Mara death and post-Mara death.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
It's BC and
AM.
it's BM and AM.
So the only things that really happened before you guys joined was seeding the adventure with goblins, and then there was that one encounter at the graveyard where you guys encountered Pac-Man ghosts.
That's actually not
Yes.
true. That's also when we found our love for pit fights. We
Oh,
actually
yeah.
found our love for pit fights before Stormblaze joined us, which is
there was
fantastic.
one round. Yeah.
Like we didn't join up with him until we loved this shit.
Yeah.
So I can look back at all my spoils of war and try to remember where every one of those came from, because those will jar my memory as to what we fought. The problem is that
That's why I collect random
like,
things
I remember-
too, also to remember the storyline.
I remember quite vividly many of the early sessions. However, it's from Black's vantage point, and I have and so it will be wrong. They will be interpretations from Black's view of what actually happened.
It's not
Most
wrong.
likely.
It's just 1d6 of the truth.
Yeah, it's very colored. It's very gold feather colored.
It's the same thing as memories in life.
Very true.
All right, how we all feeling? Are we ready to partake upon this parlay?
Yeah.
Yes, really
that-
quick. Send me really quick before we parlay. Send me your Gmail addresses so I can add you to this.
It's lucky number lion, all spelled out, at gmail.com.
Lucky number lion.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Parlay.
Parlay.
So Baddock heads out to the garden and sits down at the little table. He's got a tea kettle that is full of whiskey, and he has a little teacup that he's drinking out of.
I love
That
that
is
for him.
adorable.
I love
I'm
that
so
for
glad we
him.
sent him out to the gardens.
Sorry, I think I heard a Naya question.
Oh, I just said teacup.
Oh, yep, a teacup.
Adorable.
Because that's classy.
Real quick, with or without the pinky extended. This is important.
Oh, 100% with.
Okay.
I'm just getting things ready. Oh, I need to hide some stuff.
Are we meeting in the dining room for this parlay?
No, it'll be in the common room. Actually, let me see if there's something. Let me see if there's a good place on the second floor.
If you
And
could
yes, there is.
direct us there.
Yeah. No. Okay, let me go back to the first floor and see if it would make sense somewhere else. No, I think the common room is going to the kind of foyer with the where he's at now is going to be the best place.
All right, let's get in position, A team. Mara's gonna be in the middle of the room waiting for attendance.
Are there Dan, is it possible that Black could find an apple or any sort of fruit?
Are you gonna eat it like an asshole?
I
Like
just want
just munching on it?
Crunch,
Hey.
crunch, crunch.
You know he will.
Is he gonna ask that out loud?
Yeah, he'll ask. He'll ask on the way from dinner. If there was one at dinner, he would have grabbed it. Otherwise, he would ask the host if there's any sort of apples around. He's really craving an apple.
A platter will come out of the kitchen with a variety of different types of apples on it.
Oh, nice. Black will take 2 apples. One, whatever is the closest to a Fuji apple, and one Red Delicious.
Chudward will also bloop up behind him and just grab a couple with his tentacles. And do nothing.
He doesn't crack into them
Ominous.
like they're a little skull.
No, he kind of just juggles them around in his tentacles. Like moves them from tentacle to tentacle.
Real quick question: can you guys see HP bars on these guys?
No.
Yeah.
Well, on one of them,
On
Just
who?
on the one,
the middle one.
the middle red guy.
Okay.
Uh,
How about now?
yeah. No, not at all on any of
Okay.
them.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I cleared that out. I had them ready in case there was a combat encounter, and this is not a combat encounter. At least not
I know,
yet.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh God, did we piss him off already?
No, I was actually, when the people walk in, I do want to have an insight roll prepared. I would try to identify who the leader is as the group is coming in.
Okay. I will describe them as they enter. Um, who who did you fight in the battle? That was the flame druid, right?
Yes.
So he's not currently accompanied by a flaming deity, but this is him.
And currently we have no weapons, right?
Did you guys end up leaving your weapons at the entryway? I don't think you guys did. But
I think.
We were told we had to.
I think
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I
before
thought-
we
well, I thought-
ended, we left it on the table
oh
down here.
yes,
Yeah, the dining
yes.
table.
You left your weapons, and I remember you guys saying like, "Oh, I don't need my weapon," or at least one of you saying, "I don't need my weapons because I'm a magical person."
We're all
Right.
magical people.
I do have a question though, and Naya may or may not want to share this. Is Naya leaving Needle or keeping it?
Needle? Oh yeah,
The
we talked
needle.
about that. No, she's keeping it. Because
Okay.
technically they don't think it's a weapon, right?
It looks like
And he's
a
like-
stitching needle.
It's a,
Yeah, but then
it's a
she-
crafting tool.
Yeah,
I have
no-
a question about that. Is it how does it hide its weapon form? Is that magical or is it mechanic? How does that work?
it's magical.
Actually,
Okay,
since
so-
the Tech was up, how much would Mara also know about that item?
You would know that it's a magical item. But I'm sure Luthien probably identified it in the past.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's very pingable on Detect Magic, correct?
Yes. But people wouldn't know what the nature of the magic is. It's just that it's a magical weapon. I mean, that not even a weapon, that it's a magical item.
It's a magical needle, as far as they can tell.
Yes. So
Right on.
it could have magic of any sort of things. It could be like an enhanced crafting tool or something like that. So it would
Right
be
on.
magical, but it would not be clear that it's a weapon.
Gotcha. Okay, just wanted to check a couple things. Sorry, proceed.
Okay. So this druid, he's a beardy guy. He's decent height. He's not a tall guy. He's got red robes. He would not have the staff with him that you saw him using when you were fighting him in the pits. This is the guy who his compatriot exploded himself at Black. So he will enter the room first. By the way, the master of the house would have instructed you guys to stand to one side. I think the side where you guys are on the left would be accurate, but he would have instructed you guys to stay back towards the fireplace to keep your distance.
Black would lean against the mantle if it's possible to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just
Fall
make sure
through.
that she's in front of everybody.
Ooh, I think I have better art. This character on my other computer. Let's see if I can find it again.
Is Storm upside down for anyone else on the screen?
I think he turned himself so his back is to the wall.
Yep.
Oh, you can do that? How do you do that? How do you rotate yourself?
There's
If
like
you
a
click
little.
on yourself, there's a box sticking off to the top.
You put your right hand in, and then you put your right hand out, and you
Found
put your
it.
right hand in. You do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around.
Oops. Putting too many.
So as they're entering, the host of the house will introduce them. The first druid he introduces as Elazar Dryflagon. I'll put that in.
Dryflum?
So,
Oh, Elazar Dryflum?
Is that
Dryflagon.
this guy, the brown guy?
Yes.
What an unfortunate name. Black would not say that out loud, but he would think it.
And the red female tiefling that Stella had chased across the city enters next, and her name is Vanifer.
Ooh.
Like someone misspelled Jennifer.
Or Yennefer from The Witcher.
What?
Sorry. Sorry, the bisexual in me just like I was like, oh my god, it's Yennefer. Even though it is clearly a red
Yes.
tiefling.
And then the third to enter is Severin. And I'll share an image of him. And he is not, or is he? No, he's not accompanied by the little dragon that's in his art.
Oh, I like his fancy purple robes.
And so, just to be clear, first off, if you guys do know about these characters as they are written in the official books, take any of that with a grain of salt because I am using the stat blocks and the names in some parts of their history, but I've customized things greatly. If you're not familiar with them, please don't search them in D&D Beyond. Just kind of etiquette as a player is don't look that stuff up if you don't know.
Right
And
on.
then what was I going to say? I was going to say a third thing. um yeah, I'm using them mainly in name and stat block only, so if you do see something that's canon about them, it is not canon in this world. So um they fit the storyline, and I am adapting them to work in my world.
Cool. With my insight, who does it seem that is in charge?
It's very clearly Severin.
Right on.
Even with the 10, it's very clearly he's the last to enter, and he is standing prominently in the middle in the position to negotiate. He will take one step forward, but he will keep his distance.
Right on.
And
Mara will also keep her distance out of respect. She won't just like walk up to him. And as they're introduced and they get positioned, Mara will actually speak up quickly. She'll just be like, "Hi, I'm Mara Elpis. I am a cleric of the road, and I believe that there is a lot of misunderstanding between our group and your group that we hope we can talk out and resolve here." Does Stella come up behind? Is Stella always been behind me?
No, I just appeared there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Mara's
here to
gonna kind of
back you
glance
up.
over to her. Okay, cool. Yeah. So she's gonna be like, I'm Mara. This is Stella. Stella's really level-headed about a lot of things, and she also thinks that we should kind of smooth this over. So we would love to hear any grievances about us at this time.
Greetings. Pleased to meet you. This was highly unexpected. Um, but at our host, Mr. Van Torb's request, um, and he has provided information that adds new context. Um, we are willing to hear out uh, your side and see what you request.
Well, I would actually really love to hear how you saw us before this new information came to light. I'd really love to hear like your full-on grievances about us before we begin. I really want to understand the context of what's going on.
We had spent years and lost many trying to recover an artifact that bound our deity. We'd done a good job of defending it against death knights, against treasure hunters, and all the like, who sought out the dragon and its treasure, but we're not able to deal with the dragon itself. But at least we were able to keep it out of their hands. You rolled up and immediately dispelled our wards, allowed a death knight in to kill the dragon, which we have no qualms with. But you allowed a death knight to abscond with a device that allowed us access to our deity. You effectively banished him from this plane. Your actions are not without consequences. We You've set us back I wouldn't say hundreds, but years and years, and many faithfuls' lives, just to an ally with the Death Knight? It's
It's complicated, I know.
yes, and it's been more
And all the time,
complicated now.
Mara's just like nodding sympathetically and wholeheartedly listening to what this man is saying.
We had no reason to assume other than you were in league with him, but Edorin says that you were not. So we're willing to hear out what you have to say and see if it sounds truthful, and perhaps we can negotiate on those grounds.
So I'm very sorry for the disruption we have caused in your religion. That has not been my intention at all. As a cleric of the road, I actually feel that free expression of religion is the most important. Like, you always need to keep an open mind. So I do feel terribly about what we did under the limited information we had. See, let me tell you a little bit about my party. You've met Stella here. She's really even headed. We have Stormblaze over there. He's our tank. We got Ice Rose. She's a badass. She knows when like demons and stuff are around. She's super smart. We got Naya, who's a master of the water. We got Black, who, I mean, I guess if you want to ship some grain or something, Black is a guy to go to, but otherwise, don't worry about Black. But
Blood takes
a
a bite of the
long
apple.
time ago, well, actually, not even that long ago, but we kind of got together and we fell into a series of events where aggression was the most logical solution. And when we came across a town that we just picked up a town board request to go hunt down a magical item, and we had been so used to aggression as an answer that we fell into a series of missteps. And I do have a question. Was the dragon actually like your friend, or did you have an arrangement with him, or was the dragon keeping it the safest option for your item because you knew the dragon wouldn't destroy it? Because, like, I'm not sure how the dragon falls in with you guys specifically.
Well, he was a captor, but at least he was a neutral
I
captor.
can understand that. I can feel that. That's actually probably the safest place for it. But see, through our series of events and through our previous aggressions, we kind of got too hasty in things and we didn't fully understand the gravity of what we were walking into. I do want to say though, I don't necessarily feel like your god has been banished. There are still plenty of ways for your god to connect should he feel like his followers are worthy. So,
But we're not here to tell
but
you
we're not
how
here
it
to tell you
is.
what you're doing with your religion, and I
Yes.
do feel kind of bad about it. The Death Knight situation I feel was he was trying to undo a previous curse, so he had his own set of consequences to deal with, which unfortunately collided with your goals. So he was trying to fix previous problems that he created while we were in the middle of a neutral situation, and you with your god also in a neutral stronghold. You can see how a lot of things aligned to just make it a complicated mess, and it's not really anything personal, right?
We would like to say that, first of all, that we are extremely sorry for your the circumstances that this has put you in and how it has negatively impacted you and your people. That was not our intention. Um, and you know, whether it was ignorance or a lack of information, be that what it will, it is in the past, and we cannot, unfortunately, rewrite the past. But do know that at the time, we thought we had all the information we needed to do the job that we set out to do. But we were clearly wrong in that, and you have now become involved, um, which you were in the beginning. We kind of knew that, sort of didn't. Um, but obviously, it has affected you greatly, and it is part of the consequences of what we did on that day.
And Mara will just look expectantly back at Severin and just be like, you get it, right?
I would like to
I take
further
another bite of the apple.
So, at this point, I'd like each of you to roll a persuasion with advantage.
Woo! Thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, that went over well. It sounded like Sarah, you were about to say or ask something.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, it was just for the two of them that I was asking
Oh,
for that for.
Thank
Sorry,
no.
God,
Storm.
because what the fuck,
Rolling.
what?
I want to persuade people.
Flex
uh,
roll was right where he wanted it to be. That's great.
yes.
I know.
So Stella is just going to explain. So in terms of why you may have thought we were aligned with the Death Knight, it was because we did hear his side of the story and his involvement with your god. Um, and he wished at the time, again, this was out without the full understanding of your group. Um, he wished at the time to receive the brazier and potentially release your god as a sort of part of his undeathliness was created because of something that he did by trapping your god in the brazier in the first place. And he felt very guilty for that, and so he wished to free it. At the time, we were not planning to allow him to leave with the brazier, as though we did sort of negotiate his help in killing the dragon, we did not trust him beyond that task. The only reason why he left with it is because, unfortunately, our party was quite hurt from the encounter, and we had a priority to save our own as opposed to chase after him. He also apparated in the
Mara's
middle
just
of
like
the air.
blinking at Stella, like none of this information is necessary right now.
So That's why that occurred. He left very suddenly through powerful magic, and we had no means to stop him. And that's kind of where our interaction with the brazier ended.
Mara's just gonna turn to Severin and hope he starts talking.
Well,
Block takes another bite of the apple.
Crunch,
all
crunch,
he
crunch.
needed to do to make sure that Imix was freed would be to turn the brazier over to us. All you would have had to do to prevent it from falling into his hands is nothing. Just don't dispel the ward on the door.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, but
there
then
are
he also wouldn't have been able to redeem himself and rid himself of the curse of Death Knight Enos. Um, but
that's his fault.
right, and
But
he was
even
trying to fix it. We
so,
were trying to be
yeah,
helpful.
even so, in handing the brazier over to us, we would have been able to free Imix, and thus his
First of all, I looked for you
condition.
guys. I actually saw like your wards and symbols and stuff, and I actually looked for you guys. And if you had maybe like had a guard or something to helpfully explain the situation, we would have known all the insane nuance of the war between a dragon and a gnome town and the
Yeah,
cult that had a side relationship with it.
unfortunately,
You came with Death Knight in tow.
Yeah, and like at no point did anyone try to talk to anybody about it. Like we were talking to everybody. We talked to a town that doesn't exist to try to get more information. And where were you guys? Like we literally found a town that does not exist to try to figure this out.
I just want to say that we did the best with the information that we had at the time. All we knew is that you in the area and you had something to do with the red dragon. The other people that we talked to said that you potentially worship the red dragon because that's what it looked like on the outside. That's clearly not true. So that's all we knew about you is that. And so, in order to do our job at the time of killing the red dragon, we did have to lower your wards because we had no way to know any of this prior to that. Can't read minds.
Also, you know what? You're right. This this all could have been solved with a little bit of information from everybody. And you're right about everybody's right about that here. What I propose is we take our little disagreement and we unwind it here. And if I see, influences of your cult and anything else I may come across, I try to find somebody and talk about it before getting involved. But what we're really after, honestly, is a particular knife that your group may have picked up.
Oh, you mean the one that you threw at us in combat?
Right. Do you know exactly what it is? Have you run an identify over it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, what we want, honestly, is to see that item destroyed. That's literally all that we are here for right now. We want to see that item destroyed, and you can see from our side we actually have no personal ill will towards your group. It was a series of misunderstandings, and we will try to be more mindful in the future. I promise you that. But what we really want is that item needs to be destroyed so that it cannot be used, because you should understand what that item is capable of and why it should not be in the wrong hands.
And what do you have to offer in trade?
That depends on exactly what your group is looking for. There is a variety on the table. What do you, Severin, want?
I think we can say that quarrels amongst us and you have been no good for either party. We're willing to drop that as is after hearing your side. Our qualm, though, now moved next to Hildebrand's. You explained your view of his side of things, but he still has taken action he must be accountable for. He could have just handed over the brazier and all would be resolved peacefully. He must be held accountable or must be held to undo what he's done.
What has he done
Really,
exactly?
really quickly, interjection here. Question for the DM.
Yeah.
At this point, can I roll a? I guess it's a history. Do I know how to kill a Death Knight once their curse has been unbound?
Yeah, let's say you can do that. They're undead, so you would have advantage on it.
Cool. Where's my history?
His curse is gone, you can kill him.
Through physical means?
You can kill him by killing him.
Cool. Ice will pipe up at this point. I will be very happy to assist you in killing the Death Knight now that his curse has been lifted, his immortality has been lifted.
She does
In
not
return for the
speak.
right knife.
She
I
does
said
not.
I.
Yeah, speak for the entire party.
Well, to be fair, the right knife is really Ice Rose's whole shtick here. So, like, if she wants to pipe up for it.
I mean, that's fine, but I want to know what exactly the Death Knight has been doing since we last saw him. Because we
Very good
haven't heard
question,
anything.
Stella. Severus, what has the Death Knight been doing since we last saw him?
We've not been able to pin him down. I was hoping that's what you had to offer in trade.
So you haven't spoken with the Death Knight since your god has been released, or been in knowledge of him.
We have whispers that he is across the mountains. That's why we were headed this way.
Mara is gonna turn 180 degrees and turn straight to Luthien and be like, Luthien, do you have anything to add to this parlay?
We thought since you were headed in his direction that you must be aligned, but I take you at your word that you are not.
We're not. I have family across the mountains. Across the mountains where exactly?
Oh, just over, not across the river yet. Somewhere in Stormbreaker.
Specific.
All we have is whispers. We're doing what we can, but our forces are much diminished at the moment.
Stella looks kind of worried at this and stops talking.
Ace is whispering to Luthien. I don't know. Yep. We can barely hear you.
Oh, am I
Justin.
not talking loud enough?
Oh, there
No,
we
we can
go.
hear you. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, what
So
do you have to
yeah.
add to this?
Nothing. I have nothing to add to it. You guys, you all say your pieces.
Well,
Ice will whisper
Yep.
to Luthien, can I borrow your mirror?
What for?
To help them find this guy.
To find Hildebrandus?
Yeah.
It won't be a problem to find him.
Do you have anything
Awesome.
further to add about Hildebrands' activities since the town?
No, they've made up their minds about him. If they want him dead, that's on them.
Okay.
There are ways for accountability beyond death.
What would you do? What do you want?
If he can undo what he's done, that would settle our debts.
Or redo what he did the first time.
Preferably not binding Imix into an item that can be passed along between mortals.
Okay,
No, preferably not that.
okay, so what's the alternative? Like a walking host?
No, just
Bind
a
them into
safe
defense.
passage.
Hmm.
I
Let's
still
take
look
let's
over
take
at
Parley up.
sorry, I forgot our host's name, but look over at him to see his reaction to that.
Roll an insight.
Edrin.
Insight, Edrin, yes. Insight. Damn it. I don't know shit.
You cannot read his features.
Okay.
Black takes another bite of the apple.
Your god is from the
Plane
what's
of
the
fire.
word? The plane of fire. I do speak a little bit of primordial. I did study a bit about the planes and such. If I could figure out a way for you to retain contact with your god, would you agree to leave Hildebrandis out of this? If I could
Well,
if
it,
if I could, would that be an agreeable way around Hildebrandis doing it?
if you had done your research, you would know that they speak Ignan, not primordial. But still, I'm curious. Um,
Well, if you get me an Ignan translation book, I can learn it in about 2 weeks.
in what form is this communication that you propose?
That's actually a very good question, and one that I am actually still pondering myself. There are several ways that it can be done through a variety of spellcasting specialties. Um, and it really just depends on what the end goal really is. So if we could, figure out exactly what you want this other planar being to do when it's here, I have ways to facilitate. And during this time, I'm actually going to throw my own insight over to Mr. Host. If you just want like communication with your god, that's actually pretty freaking easy to do.
Yeah,
And you can have direct communication, and we don't have to worry about like the hard part of interdimensional crossing.
yeah, simple mundane spells are not the issue here. We are plenty capable without your abilities.
They want revenge.
Not revenge. We want what's been done to be undone. Or
I'm picking up
to
what
be
you're
made
putting
right in
down,
turn.
but the way that it was originally done was actually a pretty bad thing for the universe in general. And the person that did that had to undo what he had originally done so that he was no longer cursed, and curses are a bad thing. So I'm proposing ways to sit down with you and help you research out how we can connect you back to your God without literally having to curse someone to do it. So like a little bit of like give and take here. Like we want to help you, but
Are we asking to be cursed? There
no,
are
but like
ways
that's
that
how the Death Knight did his thing, and if he undoes it, it's probably going to be in the same way, and then he'll be cursed again, and that would be a very sad thing.
there are ways that he could have done his undoing the thing that he had done that didn't involve doing the thing that he did.
I know, which is what I am proposing I do instead of him.
Yes, that's all in the past now. You can be angry about it, or
Basically,
you
what
could
I'm
go
saying is I
about it a
want you to
different
stop
way.
being mad at Hildebrandis, and I want you to tell me how I can help you solve the situation while we also work on destroying the right knife.
Can you bring Imix back to the material plane?
That's a very good question, and I will need to do some serious research on, but there are ways.
There,
If
yes, but does Amix want to come back?
That's also
of
a very good
course,
question, and I was gonna ask that.
I
I was gonna
don't know
ask
if
him
that's
personally
true.
when I got there. I'm not gonna ask this guy what Imix wants.
if that if that's a thing you can do, then yes, we'll accept that in turn if what you want is Hildebrandis's relief from this debt, then yes, that's a fair
And
negotiation we can
destruction of
do.
the right knife, and or giving it back to us so we can go and destroy it. We just want to make sure that that gets resolved because that's a really bad thing to keep around in general.
That that would be fair for what you claim to offer in turn. But I find your ability to do that dubious. But if you can really offer what you say, um, yes, that would be fine. Otherwise, we will claim our debt from Hildebrandis.
Black takes a
Mara
bite of the
turns
apple and
around
finishes
to
it.
the rest of the party and looks to see what their reactions are to what just transpired.
Black takes the last bite of his apple, pulls out another apple, looks at the leader of the other party, and says, um, "I just like an apology for being blown up." And then I take a bite of the apple.
Well, you can seek that apology from Razor Blast.
Is Razor Blast the one who blew up? I'm guessing.
He just gives you a slight chuckle that doesn't come across on my microphone.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Well, no, I mean that was a player question. Is Razor Blast who blew himself up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Then Black guy just kind of nods at him, acknowledging that, and takes a bite of his apple. That's all.
Stella's just looking more
That's
and
all.
more disgusted by how this guy is just like does not give a shit about the guy who blew himself up
Man, I can't
or
wait till this guy
anything.
meets his own god.
Have they never actually been in contact with Imix before? Do we know that? We wouldn't know that, would we?
You have no
No.
idea.
I
Yeah.
mean, they had to have at least something if they worship it, I
Have
would
you met
think.
people that worship things?
I mean,
This is why
someone
we're
just
gonna
got
bring their god
roasted.
to them, just like just like they asked.
I think organized religion just got roasted.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fucking boom.
All
Zing.
right. Well, I mean, they couldn't have worshipped it from a cave, right? Like, they had to at least
Like,
be able to,
I
like,
don't think they were
touch the
friends with the
brazier or
dragons,
something.
not gonna lie.
Yeah, they didn't seem to appreciate the dragon, but at least the dragon didn't fucking kill their or banish
Which
their
makes
god.
Yeah, which makes me think that the dragon was not always there.
How's Ice Rose looking right now?
Ice Rose is not happy. It's like, why are we taking the difficult route of summoning and opening another rift, summoning another being from another plane, or opening communications between another plane, instead of just helping these guys find Hildebrandis?
Well, they would want to do that either way,
I don't want to curse Hildebrandis
with or without our
again.
help.
Like, yeah,
That
like
That's the
would
problem.
be
at least
that
at this
is
point
not
we are in control of the portal instead of fucking Hildebrandis being in control of the portal.
hang on. Question to the DM. Can a Death Knight, a paladin that's already fallen, be recursed? Do I have to roll for that?
I mean,
History?
a cast could be, or a curse could be cast on them, but like the nature of the original curse is what created them, so they can't be uncreated. They can't be recreated because he currently doesn't have an oath to potentially break.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, he could be cursed for doing it, but it won't render him immortal again,
Well,
correct?
who would curse them?
I thought you guys were saying that if he rebound Imix, that he would be cursed.
That was
I was
potentially
that was a bluff.
something Mara.
That was actually
Yeah.
a straight up
Yeah.
bluff.
Oh, okay.
I straight up bluffed that because I knew that that's not how Death Knights worked, but I'm gonna fucking throw down.
Yeah, it's more that, no matter
I'm
what
trying.
we do, it's the result is gonna be the same as when we first started this bullshit with the cult. They're
Yeah,
gonna have Imix.
they're
There's gonna
gonna
be
they're
some
gonna
group.
open a portal through some means, and if
Yeah.
anyone's gonna do it, we might as well do it because we can at least figure out how these fucking portals are fucking happening.
Yeah, whether we help them or not, the result is gonna be the same.
And how do you think Mr. I control a whole bunch of magic over there is going to feel about us negotiating that?
Oh, I have a plan for that one. Just you wait and see, my little one.
You're
This'll be
talking
great.
about this in front of Adrian?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure. Yeah, no, Mara was hoping like, oh no, I have that figured out too. This will be great. And then Mara will turn back around and face Severin and be like, so how do you feel about destroying that knife?
In exchange for
Well, you clearly just saw we're all heavily invested with this whole nonsense to begin with, so we're going to be following out to the bitter end with you. We're going to try to solve your whole god issue, resolve the whole Death Knight issue, tie it up in a neat little bow. All we just want is a nice little drinking party, and we destroy the right knife. And we'll all be on the same side after that, working for the same cause.
You can have the knife to destroy as soon as the situation has been resolved.
Okay,
mhm.
cool. And then Mara's going to turn to the host of the house and give him one last look down to see how he's reacting to all of this.
Yes. Can I? Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna.
fucking God.
Yeah, I don't need to roll.
Stella, you can too.
Sure.
Stella's been
See
with me
what
the whole
you
time.
know.
Roll, Stella.
Nope,
Oh,
I
Jesus
know
Yes!
nothing.
Christ. That's
Yes.
a perfect
The
line.
dichotomy.
uh,
The cycle is complete.
Well, Stella's not shooting anything right now. That's why her rolls are shit.
Mara,
We've
Mhm.
reset.
you can tell that Edorin is very uncomfortable with you promising to release this deity onto the material plane.
They started it.
Technically, Hildebrandis did.
He's promised both parties security. He's also, been accepting of these people into his home under what conditions you're not positive. But Edorin is clearly uh based on the conversations you had over dinner, he's not 100% on board with tearing a tunnel to the elemental plane of fire and letting a very powerful fire elemental through. Yeah.
So when Mara turns to look at him with my sleight of hand that I rolled, she's actually gonna like try to slip him a wink, as she turns back to the rest of the party and um, steps towards them as if to end the parlay. Unless anyone has anything else to add while these people are here.
Ice is
Are we gonna
standing
walk?
there.
When we walk out of the room, add something.
Yeah.
Before you walk away, if you give kind of body language that you're kind of done, he will ask, so, what would you propose as next steps in this arrangement?
Well, I am going to do some brief studying overnight, with what I know. And I think tomorrow, probably over a late lunch, after both of our groups have discussed amongst ourselves, we can all come together and get to know a little bit more about your god. Maybe we go out for a nice picnic in the woods. These are actually very beautiful landscapes out here.
Beautiful undead ridden woods.
Well, hopefully we won't have to deal with that too much, but everyone here is capable enough.
Question for the DM. This may
Yeah.
be an insight roll. When does Edrin's promise of safety end?
He's offered you, safety within these lands, to camp outside and things like that. So as long as he is able to protect you from these guys, he will on his lands where he is the one in power. He also has, promised not to attack you on these lands. If you were to go deep in his lands where it was still technically like under his control, but he didn't have the force in play to defend you, he would not be able to defend you from these guys. But it's essentially as long as he is able and as long as you are on his lands, you are his guest.
Okay, I was more
Unless
concerned with how up to which point his obligation that he has promised is, because I'm more worried about him attacking us at this point.
his obligation is on his lands now that he's granted you access. You are protected as long as, you don't do something to sour the arrangement.
Okay.
No stabbing.
No stabbing in the cabin.
Need
More
that on a
concerned about
t-shirt.
this guy
that
trying to
sounded,
stop us from ripping open the material plane again.
We don't necessarily have to rip it open. I'm going to think about that for a bit.
Yeah, it's also worth considering you want to do that here.
Right, like there's totally better places to bring a fire god into existence than like, I don't
Not
know,
a
the top
Can we-
of a freaking mountain where fire doesn't really happen.
Can we just
By a
convince them to
glacier.
worship? Can we just convince them to worship Stormblaze? That would make things so much easier.
No, it wouldn't. Then we
Yeah,
would have
blow
a
the
cult
dragon
following us around.
Where are we
It'd
Oh,
be so
free-
annoying.
But we have
We
like
can
then we'll
barely
have
manage
like
ourselves. How are we gonna
but then
handle
we
a
will
cult?
have like super powerful red shirts.
Oh my
No.
goodness. Anyways,
I'm not opposed to this
Elazar
idea.
is wearing a red robe.
Aw. Damn it.
So have you heard about our Lord and Savior Stormblaze?
And then he
He's
puts
just
two
as
thumbs up
cool.
instead.
And his profitable
mean-
profit Black.
Come to think of it, like, isn't Storm from the elemental plane of fire?
No.
Not from the
No?
elemental plane, but
Affected by it.
He's
Gotcha.
a Genasi. They're like. I actually don't know much about Genasi lore now that I think about it.
They're of the material plane. I mean, there is. It's like asking if a tiefling is from the abyss. That would be a highly judgmental question to ask.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay, so no Stormblaze gods, unfortunately.
At whatever point we start to leave the room, Black will say to the leader of the other one, "My condolences to his family," but he says it kind of in like a in inauthentic way.
Dude,
I just want an apology. That's all.
He laughed at his own dead guy first.
I know. Well, so yeah. So either he's going to get a kick out of that joke, or it's going to rub him the wrong way. I'm willing
Yeah.
to take the risk.
It wasn't so much he was laughing at it; he was laughing at the request.
Mm.
Yeah, which
Still.
told me that they all act on their independent. Like he's not the leader of them. They're all making their own individual decisions. And that was a sacrifice that that person was willing to make, which is why I'm going to say my condolences to his family, because I don't know if this cult is like a family thing or if it's like you leave your family to do it. Just trying to poke at a potentially open wound.
They're just a Taliban.
If I need to roll anything for that, let me know. But if it doesn't do anything, that's fine too.
No,
I'm just
no. He'll. I mean, he doesn't really outwardly react to it.
okay. I like the guy actually. Don't have a problem with.
Storm, I see a religion roll. Is there something you're looking for?
Oh, that's the one he was prophesizing about our Lord and Savior Stormblaze.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about him? Real great guy.
so our next steps is to go hunt down Hildebrandis. So we're stuck doing these guys' dirty work.
So have you guys ended the parlay? Have you guys like left to the dining room? Have you left outside, or are you guys still in the room with everyone here?
Does the other party seem like they have anything else they want to discuss?
Uh, he asked you what the next steps were, and you kind of said learning more about each other.
And proposed brunch the next day. Is he down
Yeah.
for brunch? Or dinner? Or whatever time we all get together and sit down and have a meal.
Yes, I guess we can meet again tomorrow morning. As long as Elazar is willing to have us.
We can also
if
host in the woods. We are great hunters and we have a fantastic chef with us.
well, that would still be a guest on his lands. If we are going to allow you to destroy this dagger, I'm not sure how that affects our business. That will be something for us to discuss tonight.
Well, we already agreed that Hildebrand's death plus the dagger for reuniting you with your god. So there's no additional negotiation about
We
the night.
we came to agreement on terms that would be amenable to us. If that calls off business we have with oh, it's not Elazar, Edarin, um, then we may no longer you know, have claim to his hospitality. Um,
So we
but
go back
if
across the river. It's like 2
yeah,
days from here.
but if Edorin will have us, we can meet over brunch tomorrow. Of course, Edorin will make sure you're compensated, and we come to terms that are amenable for all. Um, and we'll go from there. When he refers to Edorin, he'll just kind of nod in return. Okay, okay. So, yes, let's meet over a brunch tomorrow. That shall be fine. Um, uh, Edorin will kind of he'll kind of step aside and allow the uh the stairwell up to be open. And what's his name? Severin will nod to you all. Very well. We shall uh convene in the morning. This has been unexpectedly productive. Uh, very well. Good evening. Um, sleep well. Out there. Good night. And he will leave. And Elazar and Vanifer will follow him up.
What time of day is it right now?
This is night now at this point. You
Oh,
guys,
okay.
you had dinner, you talked for a while, and then you had this whole parlay. It's probably like 10 p.m. or so at this point.
Okay. I was asking because I know that I did talk to whatchamacallit, what is it, Edorin?
Edorin.
About a tour, but I won't pry him on that tonight. I'll do that if we have time tomorrow.
Uh, yes, you've seen most of the main floor. Perhaps if things go well with your new acquaintances tomorrow, we can tour the upper floors. But for now, I think it's best that you go and take rest. Um, you are free to have access to my lands, set up your tents or whatever camp you have, and spend the night. Um, you will have no issues with my servants or guards. Let me know if you need anything. And you have my protection from anything external while you are in my domain.
Thank you
And
very much. I believe Black and I have matters to discuss with you, sir. And she'll turn to the rest of the party. Does anybody else have anything they need to bring up with him, or can you guys go get camp set up?
Go get camp set up. That's fine.
Yeah, me too. Could use some air.
In particular, but I'd like to stick around.
I'm cool with Ezra sticking around.
Chudward's like really into this suit of armor, so I'm just gonna hang out with him until he's done.
That's legit. That's a really good suit of armor.
okay,
Is there a place that Buck should discard his apples, or
you'd like more apples?
no, no? I want to discard the ones that I have.
Chudward will just take them from you. Well,
Well, they're coarse.
yes, I know.
Oh, take. Oh, great. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, very well. Would you like to discuss somewhere more private, or is here suitable?
I mean, it's your house, so wherever you feel the most comfortable, to be
Well,
honest.
those of you who would like to have a discussion, let's head over to the lounge, and we can relax and talk in peace. Um, the piano will it would have been playing something that's very kind of low and quiet in the background. It'll start playing something that's a little more not necessarily upbeat, maybe a little It
Lively?
doesn't fall in the background though. Yeah, it's a little more lively.
Time.
It's relaxing now.
Relaxing ragtime.
It is not ragtime. But I'm trying.
It's Elton John.
Elton John honestly would not feel too out of place here.
Hold me closer, tiny warrior. Steal the magic items from the cave. Like that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Cause I'm a wizard man.
I'm a wizard man. Open up portals and leave them there.
So Black was heading over as well, and Ice. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
Black and I should be with me for this, TBH.
Yeah, Black is curious as to why he was invited along, and he will
I
definitely
know,
go.
Mara never invites you anywhere except to talk about death.
Yeah, and my fortune teller did tell me to listen to you more.
Okay. So are you guys moving? Do you want me to
Yeah,
move your
move into the
tokens over
foyer.
there? Or?
Where would Black be?
Sorry, where are we
Lounge.
moving to?
Oh, I'm sorry.
The
The
foyer.
lounge.
Oh, the
Where's-
Where are
lounge.
they?
Sorry,
Over
not
in-
the foyer.
Oh yeah, Black would have loved to choose where you were sitting, Mar, but if not, he will sit here, like like next to at the arm next to you.
Let me refresh because I can't scroll anywhere on this map currently for some reason. There we go. That fixed it. Ice will park herself in this corner.
Strange. Okay. What would you guys like to discuss?
Well, I had a feeling that you might not have been particularly thrilled about the conversation that might have been happening around you.
Well, I think you know where I stand on the matter.
Right. So I have a feeling that you might not particularly really want this to happen anywhere in your grounds either. Am I correct?
No. Tearing a tunnel to the elemental plane of fire here on my grounds. No.
See,
No,
that's what
but
I thought.
yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. Do you know how to close an interdimensional portal? Like, can you like do it? Just out of curiosity.
Should be within my my power.
Should be, but have you ever done it before? Have there been any weird other portal openings in the area recently, perhaps? Maybe
I
in the last 6 months?
No, not here. I've not dealt with that particular school myself, but I mean, if there was a need here, I am confident in my abilities that I would be able to leverage them to either do it myself or call upon those who are needed to do it.
So you also agree that more research is needed on the subject, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
So what I'm proposing to you, what were you gonna pay for the right knife?
We had not come to an agreement on price quite yet. They only arrived yesterday. Um, and we're in hot pursuits by you all. I offered them security in exchange for the opportunity to buy this artifact if we could come to an agreement.
But you haven't settled on a price yet?
Not precisely. Um,
So
uh,
here's what I suggest. Take your bidding out of the running And as we are working on resolving our situations, we can work with you on research to not only open, but also ultimately close demon portals. Provided, of course, you're able to help us facilitate this research in the proper opening and closing of portals to interdimensional realms, because the control is really the most important part, isn't it?
The control of what? I'm sorry?
The tears in the universes that keep happening that you want to sew up forever to separate. You want to be able to close these fully, but you don't have the capabilities right now, correct?
No, no. There are rumors of those who would like to sever the ties permanently and who would probably have the means to uh, achieve that goal. Um, but what it sounds like you're advocating for is closing them one at a time, which is more or less a band-aid.
Well, since you don't know how to close them either way, I figured our expertise mixed with your research capabilities, we would be able to figure out a way to not only open but close them efficiently so that wide scale problems don't become wide scale problems. I just thought you might be interested in such an academic undertaking, um, given your previous um, ideologies. It's a wide range of knowledge that no one has ever really tapped into so
There,
closely before.
there are many who have tapped into that knowledge and are good at what they do. I mean, they're few, but they are quite effective. My capacity is, I'm sorry to say, quite not limited, but occupied at the moment. I'm dealing with things that are much more important to the safety of this plane than just extinguishing tiny fires.
Have you not heard about the news from the East?
I've heard from you and I've heard from others that yes, rifts are becoming more and more common, but I think my skills could be better used to prevent those from being torn in the first place than to run around mending um, each
So
piece.
you have a lead on the ones that are doing this, correct?
Oh,
You know what's going on?
the old world folk. They they're at it again. They've been doing this for well longer than generations of us, but generations and generations and generations of them. This is nothing new. This is old hat. Um, and it's better for us to shut down their attempts than to simply walk around with a broom in their wake.
But then, but you do know people that can close portals then.
Yes,
Like
but they're
you
mere nurses in
okay,
the
I'm just making
scheme
sure,
of.
like, because it sounded like you didn't even have the capabilities before, and I was actually a little bit concerned for you, given your
Well,
proclivity to the your
I've
closeness to the
never,
border.
I've never done it myself, but
I mean, but like you have someone you can call that can be here within like 24 hours.
it's not like calling a plumber. I mean, a plumber in
I mean,
24
it kind
hours
of
is out
is.
here. That would be a tall task on its own. But there are ways for those who have those means to navigate quicker than you could, to respond quicker than you could.
Okay. Well, out of respect for you, we'll take it off of your lands if we were to undergo such attempts. I appreciate your reluctant hesitance to give us brunch tomorrow. Um, whatever supplies are, we can definitely help cover it, even though we're officially lodging in your garden. Um,
I I will settle that with Severin. My hospitality uh is a necessity that I must maintain, but in terminating the agreement we had originally agreed upon,
well,
we
you
will
hadn't
need
come to an
to
agreement yet, so there's really no
a
termination to be needed.
we had come to an agreement of terms for them to be hosted here. We will need to come to a new agreement between ourselves, and the agreement that I've had with you has been to accept the transport of goods that were intended for here, which have been delivered. Uh, you caused some issues, but you have foregone payment on that. And in return, I am happy to have you here for, let's say, 3 days' time. After that, we will need to negotiate if you'd like to stay longer. But for the next 3 days, you are welcome here. Um, on my lands, you will have my protection, and you will have safety from all that inhabits this space, as long as you respect my privacy, my safety, and all of that.
3 days is very generous. Ice Rose, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
Yes, but give me a second. Sorry, I had to switch for a while.
Oh,
Hear any of you apparently.
oh, you're a little muffled.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry, I had to switch my headset again. I would just look over at Edwin and ask, is there any game on your land that I would be able to hunt?
What kind of game do you seek?
Um, I would be interested in anything exotic or interesting or unusual, maybe something that is more local to this area.
Well, do you want local or do you want exotic? Those are kind of at odds.
That is true. Exotic.
What would be interesting to you?
Well, demons, but anything that is not readily available in other places or just uncommon in general.
Uncommon really depends on the place you are in. Do you want something that's local here, or do you want something that's uncommon here? There are things that are uncommon here that are abundant where. Um, if you could just let me know what you're after, I can see if I can provide.
Looking for anything in particular, just wanting to have a little bit of hunting fun. but with
Uh,
your permission.
Let me know what you're after, and I'll see if I can accommodate.
Are you just gonna conjure it with magic?
Um, the question isn't that straightforward.
I was more looking for something that is that naturally occurs
Like, do you have
Natural
bears out here
naturally occurs where?
in this area.
on this
In this
mountain?
area, but is rare.
Yes,
Yeah.
if there is such a thing.
If it's here, it's not exotic. It's not rare.
Well, it's exotic for somebody that lived like not from here, and we're clearly not from here. So what do you have that only lives here?
That only lives here. There are many unique toads. There are butterflies in these hills that you will not find elsewhere. Um, there's a very unique type of cicada that it won't come for another couple of years, but they nest in this zone, and they're different from the ones that are in others. Um, uh, let's see. The regional patterns where the elk no, they spread much further. Um, I mean, again, it all really depends on the scope of how big you think is big, how far you think is far. Uh, just tell me what you're after, and I'll find it for you.
See, I don't like the way you're phrasing that. Like, what do you mean you'll find it? Not everything can be found here. Like, but like what kind of bears live here? Like what the frogs was kind of interesting. Like, are the frogs real?
Yes, the frogs are real. They're rare, and you can only find them here in these rivers. But I mean, bears you can find other places. And I mean, is common versus uncommon the size of groups they're in? Is it the uh size of land that they roam? Is it whether you're able to find a similar genus in other
This guy.
spaces?
Mara's
I,
gonna turn to Isos and be like, "How do you feel about catching frogs for tonight?"
How do you feel about eating frog legs for dinner?
I actually feel pretty good about it. Do you want to go frog hunting in the dead of the night?
their legs wouldn't be much of a dinner, and I wouldn't advise eating them. That would be quite unwise.
Why
Are they
not?
poisonous?
Yes. And the legs themselves are quite small. They'd not be even a snack if you were to eat them. It's
That won't be a problem. Allow me to rephrase my question. Do I have your permission to hunt for game while I'm on your
oh,
lands?
you're you're welcome. Just don't mess with, my
I
attendants.
will give you that promise as long
Okay.
as they do not intrude on us or attack us first.
They will not attack you. Intrusion, again, that's one of those things that goes back to your definition of intrusion. Like if you count walking by and seeing you as intrusion, then I I can't promise that. But
If they catch me by surprise, I might kill them or
then
lash
that
out.
would be a violation of the terms of your stay here, at which course, they have been how should we say, instructed to defend these lands, and if you attack them, I can no longer guarantee your safety.
That is a good point. Will they come up on us by will they sneak up on us or take us by surprise?
How surprisable are you? I mean, they roam these lands. If you're caught by surprise, that's more on you than on them.
That is a good point. However, I, as with your creatures, am also partial to self-defense. And
But
so if I am caught by surprise,
you're saying you would defend yourself when I have promised they will not harm you. You'll quote unquote defend yourself from them going about their business within my lands. Do you see where
what
this
I'm saying is if someone takes me by surprise, I might hit first before I realize what it is has taken
and
me by
what I am
surprise.
saying is that if you are caught off guard, that is a fault of your awareness, not on the existence of my attendance in my land.
Mara's gonna lean over to Black and be like, "Man, this got pretty intense. Do you have any last business you want to propose?"
I want another apple.
He'll gesture, and the tray of apples will return.
Brilliant.
Your hospitality, sir, is amazing. And this time I'm going to take a sour green apple
There's
and chomp into
absolutely
it
one
loud.
on the tray. Yep.
I will chop into it loudly. Delicious.
All right. Well, hopefully we can all get to know each other better tomorrow. Mara's gonna try to guide Ice Rose to the door.
Ice is just very confused right now.
It's okay. It's okay. We all are.
I don't get it.
Black's not, but he'll let on that he is, I guess. Are you a
Saying the
drinker?
wizard turns down research.
Are you a drinker, Edwin? Edwin, whatever his name is.
Depends what you define a drinker. I appreciate a fine beverage.
Well, I say I offer that maybe we share a drink together in celebration of what was, I guess, a successful parlay. It could have gone a lot of different ways.
That it could. He side eyes Ice Rose, which, out of all the frustrating things of the night, this last conversation about attacking if caught off guard and not like the whole conversation about what game as well has just kind of frustrated him because he is looking for very clear answers and he is getting vague questions.
Does Ice Rose let Mara lead her outside? I'm trying to get Ice Rose back to Stella so we can have a little girls' powwow.
A little bit. She's just whispering to Mara. It's like, I don't get it.
It's
like, what is he trying to say? It's like I can't
I'll
defend
explain
myself.
it to you later. It's a whole I don't know.
Like
It'll be fine.
he'll say
Let's
things
go
protective,
find
but I can't
Stella.
defend myself. Ice just keeps like whispering on that thread as she.
Stella
Mara's
has
just
just
like
been
trying
putting
to
the camp
soothe
together.
her, and you see like Stella is setting up camp, and you see like Mara like soothing Ice Rose while she's just muttering under her breath about stuff.
Yes, she's gonna have to pull Ice, but Ice will come.
So I'll drag you guys out real quick. Okay, so Black.
Oh yeah, all right. So well, I must say I absolutely love the manor, and I really am impressed with the way you run it. And myself, as I mentioned, I'm a property owner. Nothing anywhere near as nice as this. But I just I admire what you have built here, and I think that despite the chaos and confusions of the last day or so, I just wanted to say that thank you and admire what you built.
Thank you, thank you. I did not build this place, but building the group to maintain it and restore it, it is something that required building and quite a bit of effort. And thank you.
Well, I guess I don't want to keep you too long this evening, but have the drinks arrived, Dan?
Is there something specific you're looking for?
Oh, just a good whiskey.
Yeah, the same tray that had one come out earlier for Luthien would return. It's a fine one. No need to swap things up.
Yeah, I just raise a glass and I'd say to your continued success in rebuilding and maintaining this wonderful manor, and also to your health.
And to you and your confusing journeys.
I'll drink to that. And yeah, then I'll take a little drink. I will. Black will kind of stand up and walk around the room, kind of admiring things. Um, Not really trying to continue the conversation in case he wants to leave. But like just looking at the little trinkets, maybe admiring the piano, admiring the chessboard, things like that.
Are you hoping to have a place like this yourself?
Well, I am, yes, one day. I've had a few setbacks, but things are improving. Have improved. I don't know if I'll ever have something quite this grand, but as he's like looking at the piano, but I do want a piece of land to call my own with an estate that is noteworthy.
Keep taking contracts, stick to them to the letter. He'll nod at you. Um, and eventually, it takes time. Um, there are shortcuts, but shortcuts have their own costs.
Well, I've just seen that, have I not? I'll raise the glass and I'll finish what's in it and put the glass down on the tray. Say, well, I will be here for as long as my party is, and if you have any need for any contracts at all, um, you know, I'm keen to listen. I could always send my wagons back up or hire someone to bring larger loads down, or do them myself. But
What's
if
the
not,
what's the scope of your what would you call that? I guess just business? What's your range?
well, we are currently, and I forget the name as a player, but we are. Let me pull up the map real quick. We're currently finishing up a. We finished our existing contracts, but we have a plan to make it all the way to the southwest. Whatever the name of that city is, I got to find it real quick. Uh,
Eleanor?
yes, Eleanor. But we can be directed different ways, and also I don't necessarily have to stay with my comrades here. We've just been traveling the same direction, so anywhere is in my scope. Currently, I run around 6 wagons, but could easily triple or quadruple the size of that if I needed to. Um, I just like to keep it relatively light uh, at the moment because I have the party that's with me. I would hire many more attendees if I was going to do something larger.
6 wagons?
No.
That's not what he says.
They'll be like, I've already doubled my size.
Very, very well. I don't have anything on hand, but if things resolve themselves amicably, I might be able to make some connections. But first things first.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I agree. I find myself to be mostly pragmatic. I'm quite interested in things you've discussed and the things my party have discussed, but I try to not get involved too much. I find that there's business to be had in any world, no matter the circumstances. So I'm quite comfortable being patient and waiting while the current issues at hand are resolved.
If your your intentions are smooth business operations, I suggest you help your party resolve the issues at hand in a smooth business-like way, and that will reflect well on your skills and
Hmm.
abilities.
Yes, I do find that Mara, who you met, tends to be the best to handle things if we want them to go smoothly. But I will, I'm known to step in from time to time if it needs to be smoothed out even more.
Whoever takes point, if you would like introductions, treat this as an interview.
Mm. Duly noted. Duly noted.
I'll be aware.
Hmm.
And he just kind of nods at you.
I nod back. I play a little melody on the keys. An Eric Cochran drinking song. Should I roll performance?
Yes.
It's not a long like I'm. It's like kind
And
of like.
and keep in mind the piano is already playing.
Oh, that's fine. It's kind of like the Ghostbuster scene where he hits the two keys and he's like, "They hate that." This is kind of like my outro from the room.
Okay.
Uh, it's like lazily played.
Yeah, and it clashes with what's already going on
Ragtime.
with the ragtime in the room.
And then so from there, I'll just he'll nod. I'll kind of do that little the twinkle on the keys a little bit, and I will leave the room,
Okay.
head out as well.
All right. Luthien, I see you in the library. Did you not leave, or are you poking around in there?
Oh no, I just I haven't moved my
Okay.
icon. Yeah, sorry.
I figured I'd
Oh,
ask in case you went in. Sorry, I got a hiccup. In case you went in there to poke around.
yeah, no. Can I roll to hide? Just in the
Do
bookshelf.
it. Hide in the library.
Yeah, yeah. Roll a stealth.
No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
this will be great. Just do it.
No. That's silly.
We never know,
No, I
sir.
WWLD. What would Luthien do?
Would Luthien
Oh
hide in the
man,
library?
Luthien would just hang his head and sigh heavily. That's all Luthien ever does.
Oh man, you could have learned us some great intel.
Yeah, but that's not really how he rolls at the moment, anyway.
All right, so before Sarah runs off for bed, I want to get Ice Rose, Ice Rose, Stella, and Mara together, and Naya if Ashley is still around.
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
wait.
We're gonna have a little girls chat over in the corner.
Where?
So I'm
Same.
I'm assuming the map is not representative anymore. It's just figurative. You guys are setting up camp elsewhere.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we'd go. Mara would suggest we go like the third official alarm barrier of the manor,
okay.
unless anyone wants to sleep in the garden.
Nah.
We all cool with sleeping like off this guy's front lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
Cool.
are
Well,
there
that's where the girls are sleeping. The
surveillance?
boys can sleep wherever they want.
Are there surveillance
Oh yeah,
measures
there's
in
3
there?
alarm spells set up in
You know,
circumference around the estate, so I just
like
wanted to
can he?
be outside that range.
Right. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, can he spy on us or spy on us?
I mean, he can
Technically,
spy on
yeah.
us at any time or spy on us at any time. We just
Yeah,
won't be
scrying can
directly on
happen
his
at any
property.
time, but it's a little limited. So like you'd have to like do it all the time like a psycho, which actually just works in our favor anyway.
We're
Because we
so
tangent a lot.
unpredictable. He's not going to learn anything.
Exactly. He's gonna scry on us for like an hour and we're gonna be arguing about something unrelated, and as soon as the spell wears off, we'll suddenly start talking about the real shit. Anyways,
I so sorry, just an aside. I low key wish like that would happen more in D&D games. Is like when people scry, there's always like something interesting going on. I want more people to like scry, and it's like someone's like brushing their teeth or something like that.
right?
It's
Eating a
just
bowl of
10
oatmeal.
minutes. 10 minutes of their
Eating a bowl of
skin
cereal.
routine. I love that. Or it's like a hot goss that you don't even want to know. Like their parents are divorcing or something, and you're like, this is not what I came here for.
And now I have to like unpack that and like
Yeah.
decide how I feel about
Like,
this.
I don't know how to feel. I don't like this guy, but
Yeah.
damn, that shit's tough.
It's like you scry on someone for 10 minutes out of a 24-hour period. How much of someone's life is like that interesting that those 10 minutes are likely to fall on something that's exciting?
Yeah, I definitely want to do once my like for the game I run, the cleric, when she gets that, I really want to do their enemy just staring at a wall for 10 minutes and her being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, just mouth open, you know. Yeah.
Eyes slightly crossed.
Hmm.
Drool falling onto the floor.
Just slightly.
Just a little bit.
Sorry, that was an aside, but
No, that's like so perfect. That's exactly how that spell should work all the time. Anyways, so I gathered you all here today.
Really beloved.
So I'm not sure how the owner of the estate necessarily feels about what I specifically promised. And I do want to tell you all that I promised it among myself, and technically, you guys didn't agree to anything, and you can leave at any time. Just point that out. But end goal is trying to destroy the right knife.
Or let me take it home.
To destroy it eventually.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
I think my elders would have appropriate actions to deal with a weapon that's been used to kill our kind.
I mean,
Ritually used to kill our kind.
I can just like disenchant objects and just stop making them magical, like as soon as I can refresh my levels.
I can dispel magic right now.
Oh,
But I don't
Luthien
know if
can do
that's-
it. See,
I don't
Luthien,
know if
why
it's-
don't we go to Luthien more? Luthien always has the answers to these things.
Luthien's quiet boy, and I don't know that dispel magic would even be strong
yeah,
enough.
I'm gonna look at the spell magic.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's powerful enough.
But
Yep.
that leads us in the right direction of what we need to do it ourselves, so we don't have to hand it over to some other elders of some other town that we don't know who they are. Stella doesn't even like her elders.
It's complicated.
Remember when we just handed magical items over instead of dealing with them ourselves and like things got weird? Yeah, we should probably just destroy it ourselves.
Easier said than done. We have to go to Mount Doom, it's a whole fucking thing, and then we ride back on eagles, and then we're like, why didn't we just take the eagles in to begin with? It's like a whole fucking thing.
Well, we didn't know the eagles then, now
Well,
did we?
no, we killed all the fucking eagles on the way there.
Oh yeah, we ate them. We killed them for
Correct.
food on the way in.
This is the
So-
conversation that's getting scried on right now. We murdered the eagles and then we ate them.
Is Luthien actually part of our conversation? I thought it was the girls.
Oh no, I was just talking as like just as me as a
Oh,
human
Oh,
being
gotcha.
because I thought it
Luthien
was
can
funny.
be
Yeah.
part
Yeah,
of the
sorry.
girls
Okay.
if he wants to be.
Like
I don't
to be fair, he's kind of a lot more feminine than masculine, but yeah, he definitely doesn't
I mean, he does
identify as a
know stuff
female.
though.
So
He does
yeah,
know a lot of magic. Anyways, but
Either
Naya,
way,
Stella, Ice Rose,
whatever
how we all
happens,
feeling about this as
whatever
my
happens, I
amazing
want to
point
make sure
hitters?
that the knife can never be used against my kind again.
We can definitely destroy it and guarantee that. There's no other way to guarantee
Yeah.
it besides destroying it. Even if we gave it to
Yeah.
your elders, there's no guarantee.
Oh, trust me, there is.
Right, but only if they destroy it, because that's the only way to guarantee.
Yeah, that's the thing. We may trust you, but you just hanging on to it and then us never knowing what happens to
What
it,
stake do you have in a weapon that killed my kind?
I'm half of your kind, unless you're elf racist.
Right.
Do you have an issue that you want to
No,
discuss?
I'm just wondering why you're so adamant in not allowing the people who have been severely affected by this to take care of this problem.
Because
I
I
thought you
don't
said
think
you were
the
cool if it was destroyed.
Oh, I am. I was just wondering why you made such a point about me not taking this home.
because if we can destroy it, why wouldn't you want that?
It was
I
like
would.
that's
I'm
a
just
really long
wondering,
walk.
number one, I don't know if any of us knows how to destroy it right now. And number two, I'm just curious why you're so against an alternate option.
Because I don't trust my own people with it, so
That's a
I
you problem.
yeah, but we're kind of making decisions together, Ice Rose, if you have been paying attention.
Um,
The,
define it
the
together
solution is
part
destroying
because
it.
I certainly wasn't part of that decision making when you made a deal with this Death Knight that kind of started some of this in the first place. So just saying, don't pull things out when it's convenient to excuse your behavior.
Well, then you shouldn't do the same.
Wait,
You
why are
run
you
off and do
yelling at
whatever
Stella
you
about that? I
want.
was the one that made the deal with the Death Knight.
But
You do
Stella
whatever
is the
you
one that
want
is
all the
telling
time.
me that we make decisions together. However, I'm pointing out that we don't always make decisions together.
Mostly because you run off and do whatever the fuck you want to do without consulting anyone, and then we have to come in and clean up your mess.
You don't have to come in and clean up my mess, so to say.
If you want to be a lone wolf, then go off on your own. When
I
you're in a
mean,
group, you need to abide by the group. If you want to travel with people, you need to make concessions and make compromises. That's how being in a group works.
At that point, Mara's
yeah.
actually going to turn away and be like, I need to go talk to my patron and actually walk away from this group. In unfortunately a very bad example of Stella's point.
And so, when have when you say we make this as a group, what I really see is one or two people really, being the ones to make all the decisions here.
Not
And so
really.
I'm
The
pointing
first
that out because that completely contradicts what you said. And so this is why I say, it sounds like you're pulling this as an excuse for your own behavior. But when I try to use it for, something that I want to advocate for, all of a sudden that doesn't fly.
it's only when you are the one not hearing what I'm saying. The first option is to destroy it. We both agree on that. I don't agree with you taking it. I think there's a different option we can go with if we can't destroy it right away. Just you
Cool. I'm
keeping
willing
it
to hear
forever.
what I'm willing to hear what that option is. What I just don't understand is why you jumped down my throat when I brought up the alternate option. This is something that is central to my people. I don't know how much you know about it, how much you cared about it, but I have made it very clear that I have a vested interest in this item from the get-go. You have not, as far as I know, I'm aware of.
I
So please don't encroach on my opinions about this.
I only encroach on something that could affect all of us as a group. You having this item could potentially do that. It's a soul-sucking item that's extremely dangerous, and I don't think any one person, including myself or anyone in this group, should have sole possession of it.
That is fair. This never came up before when we first picked up this item.
Well, I didn't know what it did at the time. You didn't exactly tell anyone.
Luthien actually did an identify object on it.
I don't know if Luthien told Stella. I have no recollection of the whole group knowing what exactly
We
this
picked up a
item
lot
did.
of magical items all at the same time, to be fair.
So Luthien did identify everything, and I thought I was pretty clear with everyone that the implications of this item was pretty extreme, and I was surprised that you all just let Ice Rose take it. I
That
thought I
No,
was
there were a lot of
clearly
discussions
went
about it.
over.
No.
That's true.
Yeah, that went
I
over me, the player, Sarah's head.
Look,
I
we
don't know
all
if I
had
was
our
out of
Well,
the
these
room at
are
the
eyes
the
time or
on
gone.
consequences.
we all had our eyes on different pieces of the loot, and Ice Rose is like, I like that knife. And we're like,
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Ice Rose like knives, and we just let her have it.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
no, there were conversations where you were like, "Oh, this and this Ring of Three wishes. There's all kinds of cool things we could do with this." And I was like, "Yeah, but the implications of an item that can steal and imprison souls is pretty dire. So
All
this
right.
is a legendary item, but the implications are pretty extreme. I think you guys might want to consider that."
No,
And
it's
you got,
cool. Ice Rose can have it.
yeah,
Right, and so that was the
then I gave
decision
you
that was
guys a
made, which is what
I gave
Ice
you
is arguing now.
yeah, so I gave you guys a week to think about it, and then we started the next session, and you were going through the items about what everyone wanted, and then like the dagger came up, and Ice was like, "Yeah, I want that," and you were all like, "Yeah, cool," and I was like, "What? What?
No, it's
Really?
cool.
Oh,
Mara has the ring of
Yes,
three wishes, and that's all that
yeah,
matters.
that might be a player Sarah mistake of I didn't realize what that item did until much later on.
No, this is great. This is the best
But
person to have had
yeah,
that
and I've
knife,
done
to
that
be
too, so
honest.
you're unfortunately gonna have to play with the fact that Stella did allow that to
yeah."
happen.
You
Luthien did
you
Yeah,
identify
you
everything.
exactly.
you
Like it
guys let
happened. It's
yeah
fine.
you guys letting Ice have that was one of my like what what
I was
okay
I was
Yeah,
really
so
surprised too.
yeah,
So
I'll
so
retroactively say, she'll say that she knew about the item, but hadn't given it a lot of thought before of the implications of one sole person having it. How about that?
okay,
that sounds reasonable, yeah.
yeah, that's a
Retroactively.
fair point. We'll decide what to do with it, how we can resolve this when we get this. If we can destroy it, I would definitely be happy to destroy it or disenchant it. But I would really appreciate it if you stopped jumping down my throat every time I mention wanting to bring this back to my elders who would also have a vested interest in getting rid of this thing.
I just don't want you
If
making
it's important,
decisions by yourself without consulting anyone. That's all I'm asking, is
just
that
like, and she gestures over to where Mara is, just like she has done.
look, if you this is a group. We're here to discuss it now. We can always renegotiate terms. I know what you want. You want the knife by any means, but any means is not an option for all of us.
I never said any means, and you are also ignoring what I'm saying. Some people in this group seem to have a lot more decision-making power, while some of us are completely ignored. So I'm asking you to stop ignoring me and to stop jumping down my fucking throat because it's getting really annoying. You make a lot of assumptions about me and you act on it. And if you want to talk about group cohesion, that definitely does not help with group cohesion. And it definitely does not help me want to be part of any, and she does air quotes, group decision making.
I can concede that maybe I have been jumping to conclusions, and I'm sorry about that. Those conclusions were based on past behaviors, and I haven't felt that you were making a true effort towards correcting those past behaviors, and so my assumption stayed. If you're saying that you will consult the group and help us make group decisions from now on, that you're not going to jump in and attack people without listening to the rest of us or running off and doing whatever you want without telling anyone, then I will just stop. And I will, if you want to speak up, you can speak up. Just speak your full mind, everything that's going on in it. Can't read your mind in what exactly you want or need unless you tell us. If you just, stand there not saying anything, there's not much that we can do to help make sure that the decisions that are being made also include your thoughts.
It's hard to share all my thoughts when I get cut off every single time I open my mouth.
And I just agreed that I'll stop doing that.
Fair enough.
If you agree to the terms I just laid out.
None of you are my parent or guardian to impose such terms on me.
I'm not asking as a parent or guardian, I'm asking as a member of the group that you are traveling with. I'm asking you to do the bare minimum.
Not really, because you've just said that I should not walk away from this group or do the things that I want to do as an autonomous person without
I
consulting with the rest of you.
if you're traveling with
Naya's
people,
gonna chime in.
go Naya.
She's just been eating popcorn on this side at this point. So she's just gonna come in and be like, Ice Rose. So we do third watch a lot together. You fuck off all the time and never say a goddamn thing. And I sit and do the thing, and you go off and travel into the forest. We've waited around for you. We've had to change things to make sure that you're you're still alive, like when you just leave the group for a while. So there's a fair point that Stella's saying is all I want to say. But we're not trying to tell you that you can't do whatever you would like.
We're just
But if
asking
you are
if
going
you're
to stay as part of this group, we just ask you to not kill people with this knife without maybe letting us know what's happening.
yeah, or if you're going to go hunting in the woods
I'm
and you're with
sorry,
Naya and Watch, just let her know that you're gonna go hunting in the woods. Like,
I
say
have
something.
never said that I would kill anyone with this knife.
Yes, but you have actually just started fighting people right away.
And you did
Wait, I
throw the
started.
knife, which is how we lost the knife in the
Sorry,
first place.
I didn't hear Ash. I started fudding people.
Fighting.
Fighting people.
Like, have you not attacked people? Just like we're like, I feel like there have definitely been instances where we've been like, okay, I guess we're fighting these guys.
Oh,
I
like
mean,
in
it's not all
general?
yeah, like in general.
Yes, and I think it would be a fair statement to say that I'm not the only person in this party that has done that. However, how does that equate to me wanting to kill people with the right knife?
We're just making sure that you don't do that. That's all we're asking for. Because this thing harvests souls and keeps it inside of it, right? And it's a pretty dangerous tool, as we've just learned, like, and have reiterated again. So we're just saying you don't generally seem to be a team player all of the time. You have an agenda, you got your things you want to do, which is fine, and you're allowed to do them. You're an adult. But we're also just, if you're going to be this knife that you are so very, very adamant on, which we have done and like gone off on different tangents to make sure that we like change the trajectory of where our wagons are going so we can go get this knife, then the bare minimum is asking you to just like not do that just in case, because you never know, maybe as it harvests souls it could also take control of you, the person who's holding the dagger thing. Maybe, I don't know how this works. I'm usually stoned, drunk. Naya's drunk, Ashley's stoned.
A good point. I'm actually
I
going back to the calendar to see how long I've actually had this dagger.
I just have to say I'm so glad I've spent a good amount of time with both Sarah and Ice in person because otherwise I'd be like, oh my god, the party's tearing itself
I
apart.
No, this is
Like,
definitely not a player
Yeah,
thing.
this is just characters not meshing at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, like Ice has been starting to get annoyed with Stella for a while now.
Yes.
1, 2. I've had this knife for 2 months.
I'm just enjoying the show until I get to go bother my patron again with some otherworldly news.
I'm trying to remember everything I was saying. It's like, I'll just go with it. You know, those are some good points. I see your point there. However, I do want to point out that I've had this knife for roughly about 2 months with no, it doesn't seem to have affected me in any way, shape, or form, at least not the way, the axe seemed to have affected Storm.
Yeah. I mean,
So
we
what
don't
I'm
know.
my point here is stop jumping down my fucking throat. Let me speak. If you want to say that we are a group that makes decisions together, then you need to be able to also hear all the members' opinions instead of cutting them off or ignoring what they're saying or telling other people to ignore them. And she very pointedly looks at Stella.
Can you also agree to let us know what you're thinking, where you're going, if you're going somewhere, if you plan on fighting someone? You know,
Well, I apologize. I was not aware that you did not realize that I typically go hunting when I'm not on watch and the rest of you are asleep. I don't sleep as much as you do. I do bring food back. I thought that was obvious. And she looks genuinely confused.
yeah, I mean, you can just, all you have to do is tell Naya, I'm gonna go search for food. Like, that's it. You just have a tendency not to say anything, and that happens in every scenario, not just that one. So we're just asking you to tell us what's happening.
Be your friend, Ice. Just jealous.
Like literally all that's all I was trying to do the first couple months that we met, and apparently I just pissed you off instead, so here we are.
Right. She's clearly thinking.
Yep, all the moon wine stuff that you did. I thought we were getting somewhere and then apparently not. Everything went to hell after the whole dragon thing, so I would still like to be your friend if you want to be my friend, but it seems like you just, you know, you got whatever you got going on, and that's fine. If you want this all to be all business, we can do that. Promise to listen to you as long as you don't do anything to jeopardize the group or its safety with your individual goals.
Yes, that dragon wasn't so much the issue. It was more the group making a deal with the Death Knight when I've made it my stance on making deals with demons and undeads clear.
You were kind of unconscious at the time after you directly attacked him after we asked you not to, so here we are.
We had a conversation about this prior to approaching this thing where I made it very clear that I will never fight alongside an undead or a demon.
We just wanted to hear his side of the story first before you made the
And yet,
decision to kill him.
and yet, I still went along. While I disagreed with that, while my opinions, my very strong feelings about this was overridden, I still went along with the group position.
And I appreciate that. I do. And I'm sorry that you haven't, that I've been overriding you. There's nothing in the past that I can do to change that. But I promise not to do it anymore as long as you let us into your mind and don't jeopardize the group with your individual goals. I promise not to speak over you or anything as long as you can agree to that and keep your word.
I will try.
Okay. Then we have a deal. I extend my hand for a handshake.
She will shake Stella's hand.
All right. So we'll see if we can get anywhere with these cultist people tomorrow, I suppose. Maybe Mara has a plan for that. I'm not quite sure, but try to at least get the knife away from them. See if that happens now or later. Kind
Per
of
the
worried.
deal that was made, the knife would not be out of their hands until Mara formed some sort of bond between them and Onyx.
Or we help them get the Death Knight. That's the other
I
option
would
too.
be happier to do the latter.
I would not, but that's what a group is. We're not always going to agree.
She kind of mutters under her breath. Yeah, I know that one.
This is a new foot, Ice Rose. I'm going to do my best not to hold any sort of lingering resentments or what have you towards you. Ask you do the same for me.
I will try, but I will say that all the deals that have been made with demons and undead have given me a lot to think about as to whether I would still want to stay with this group or not.
And you can make that decision in your own time. I definitely don't agree with helping the cultists bring back a fire elemental who I'm not even sure wants to come back. I mean, if I were trapped in an object for like thousands of years, I would not want to go back to that plane of existence. I'd be fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
Yes, that was surprising. She kind of glances over at where Mara is. Can't figure that one out.
Oh, speaking of Mara,
She's over there praying.
Yep.
Yep.
What are you
Mara's
up
gonna
to?
do some good old fashioned meditation. The drunk kind. Uh, Let me actually look here. I'm trying to decide if I want to use divination or commune. I think I'm going to use. I'm going to use commune. I'm going to get the 3 yes or no questions.
Okay.
My first question for James. Actually,
Yeah.
am I allowed to like talk with him, or can I only straight up just like get the questions like the spell says? Like, am I allowed to like chat with this dude? I don't know how much
I
he shows up
yeah,
for during
it's I was
meditation.
trying to answer in character, but I think it would be better served to give you a mechanical answer. Um, he's able to give you uh greetings and some communication that wouldn't be out of touch with what he could just do anyway if he wanted to. He can do that, but he can't give you anything beyond the limits of the spell. Like if you want to just like give him a greeting and kind of converse and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And, "Oh, did you know this is going on?" Well, if you said, "Did you know what this is going that
That's
this
one
has
of the
been going on?"
questions.
That
Yeah.
would be a question. If you said, "Hey, this thing has been happening," that's probably going to go through without an
He
issue.
can
So
basically like
it's
read my mind at any point, though, right?
yeah, so he could probably be in tune to that anyway, but at least it would like this would be an explicit version of it. So it
Got it.
yeah,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
the scope is wide, but it's restricted to the mechanics in terms of what actually has hard effects.
Okay, so before I ask these questions, the general vibe that Mara gives off is that she is a little bit confused, but also a little bit concerned about him, given what this guy has been talking about with severing the material plane and such.
Oh,
But I
you
pretty
seem
much I didn't want
troubled.
to I didn't want to go any further than that. I basically just want to like let my patron know like, hey, I found something weird that like you might be actually interested in as an
Yeah.
eldritch being.
Yeah, you seem troubled.
So I do you have a personal relationship in any kind of from a general acquaintance to close friendship with Imix?
Just to be clear, this is one of your questions.
Correct. This is one of my questions. Do you have any kind of relationship ranging from general acquaintance to close friendship with Imix? Yes or no?
Oh, oh, this is yes or no, right?
Yes or no?
Um, yeah.
Are you able to communicate in a communicate two ways with Imix? Yes or no? Not just like
Uh,
being able to send him a message, but actually get one in response.
um, I'm thinking about the question. Is the question about currently, or is it about in general, would it be possible? Okay, here his answer will be well, probably if I wanted to. Did we lose me? Did we lose Bree?
Oh no, sorry, I wasn't pushing on
Okay.
my push to talk. And also the question I was about to say wasn't a yes or no question. Um my last question is would you be willing to arrange a meeting between me and Imix? Is that like both in your capabilities and physically possible?
Um, there were two questions there. The main question you asked is he willing, and then you asked is he capable. I'm gonna say you have to. So you asked the willing question, and then you clarified it as capable. I'm gonna ask that you clarify to me whether it's willing or is it capable, or is the question both willing and capable?
The question is willing and capable. I need both of them.
No, I'm afraid not.
All right. Cool. So, I'm gonna have some more questions for you tomorrow night that will have nothing to do with this, but may or may not have more to do with things like breaking the barriers between dimensions and such. So be
Oh,
prepared for those
interesting.
answers. And then, unless James has anything to add with his patronage, that's her last bit of info that she gives him.
Oh, you're honing in nicely. This is ooh, good rewards on investment, I guess you'd say. Um, very interesting. Um, well, I look forward to hearing what you have to ask tomorrow.
Oh boy, this is gonna be crazy. And then Mara will return to the camp after spending time away with her meditation. But she doesn't go outside like the fire line. She just like stays away from people and talks to herself.
Okay.
Okay, so good
Ooh,
news. I have a connection to Imix, so that's pretty great. I'm gonna need to know a bit more about how exactly this cult works, which hopefully we figure out at brunch tomorrow.
Just to be clear, so ripping a hole in reality to let potentially a fire elemental through is very much on the table because I was really hoping that was pretty much
Well,
off the table.
what I was gonna do is I was gonna more like set up a communication device, which I feel like would be more comfortable all around for everybody. I don't really want to punch a hole through the universe, if only to understand how to actually close one later. Um, so I'm working on communication right now so that we can actually ask this creature what it wants before giving into these cultist demands either way. We're gonna make sure the right knife is destroyed though. It's okay, Rose. We're gonna do that.
Okay.
But no, I don't have any actual intentions of punching holes in the universe yet.
Okay, yeah,
Why
because
was that an option
It
over
wasn't really,
this?
but it is within a general capability.
Why was that an option over just helping them find Hildebrandis?
Well, because I'm actually hoping that Hildebrandis can like resolve all of his like past consequences and stuff. And
uh
this was kind of like also our consequence. And like he has a lot that he needs to do. And I figure we could just take this one because we need to get that knife back, and we might as well clean up a mess here.
my thought is that the cultists would rip a hole whether or not we help them.
Right,
So
which is why I'm
if
trying to help them without ripping a hole.
yeah, that would be the option that I would like better, just
Yeah,
because
that's what we're working on.
even if we go and help them with Hildebrandis, then they'll probably just rip a hole afterwards. And if we refuse, then they're just going to take the knife and then find Hildebrandis and then rip a hole afterwards. The ending's
Exactly. That's why I'm
kind of the
trying to
same.
find a way to connect them back to their god through like natural means without having to rip things through anything. And we can resolve this peacefully without the whole violence of dimension tearing. Because that's
Right.
really not good for the skin of the universe in general. Honestly, it causes rashes and then weird things happen on the road. It's a whole thing.
Simple.
Plus, if they open a portal, it might just not just be Imix that comes out. It's just going to be a doorway.
That's also very true, and which is why I'm trying to avoid the whole doorway thing. Which, by the way, the guy in the house totally is not down for the whole doorway thing either. Not even for like the knowledge of how to close one. So that's a whole other reason to avoid the whole doorway situation. I don't
Okay,
want 2 enemies here. We need to
makes
have 0 enemies here.
that makes sense. Do you also know how to destroy the right knife? Or does, and she glances over at Luthien. I don't know how far Luthien is from us.
Luthien can be around now. Luthien.
Given the intensity of the conversation, Luthien would be nowhere in sight.
Lucian fucking left. Like, I'm fucking out of here, man.
Olympian has left the chat.
He's
These
just gonna
bitches
let
are
y'all
crazy.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Luthien's a smart man.
Well, between me and Luthien, we can absolutely figure out how to destroy this thing.
Okay.
And if anything, Stormblaze just needs to smash it until it no longer works. That's always an option.
Why is it never the first option?
Want to
I
try
should say this in
diplomacy
a
first.
yeah, I should say this in a very low voice. But
I'll just say it is
very-
within your party's current power to perform the task.
Okay, Ice will say in a very low voice. It's like, but it's such a pretty night.
I know, but it needs to be destroyed one way or another. Otherwise, it'll
Maybe
do
we can just
horrible things.
remove the magic from it and make
Oh,
it
yeah,
a
we can
regular pretty knife.
There are ways to just
Maybe we could
remove the
do that.
magic from it. We don't have to smash it, but smashing it is ultimately a way we could destroy it.
Okay,
We'll try to take the magic out first.
Ice visibly perks up.
See, everything will be fine. This is great. I feel like this night went really well, you guys.
Parley!
Yeah, more than one parlay. I can finally take this off my to-do
Parley.
list.
Yeah, the name of this episode is Parley.
Okay.
Parlay.
Parley Partey.
Parley and Stormblaze, the fire god.
Yes. And the alternative episode title is The Girls Are Fighting.
I don't know. I'm thinking Girl Time is the title.
I don't think this is. That's not what I would. This is not what I imagined with like girl time.
This
No,
is how
that
girl
was
time always goes. What are you talking about?
there's
when we get real.
facials, you argue with one another.
The real
And it
party
was-
wives.
Yeah,
and
this is more
favors.
like girls' night out where we get so shit faced we have this type of conversation.
Yes.
Oh, we did that in
Accurate.
the Gnomish town, remember?
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We got fucking trashed
Oh,
like
that's
right
right.
after coming back from the mines.
That's
So
right.
when we
did.
found out Stella was a princess. Well, when you did,
Again, not a
before everyone
princess.
else.
That's
Yeah,
when
I
Stella
remember.
found out she was a princess.
I'm a fucking what? You're a princess, Stella. I'm a what?
As a player, it was really funny was to listen to all of what Stella was saying to Ice and to be like, well, Black does a lot of that too.
And that's some of the things that Ice was thinking. Guys,
But
I had a tally. Like every time Stella would cut Ice off, I had a tally going. That's why I have a to-do list for Ice, and on top of it is like Ice needs to fight with Stella.
This must happen.
Yes,
It's
it
true.
was on the list.
Although Black has been a lot quieter lately, so
yeah, Black has something going on that no one's aware of, including the DM yet.
yeah. I think
But-
Stella was like, "Oh
He's
shit, I
both.
should be yelling at 2 people, and now there's just 1 person to yell at."
Or am I aware?
Well, I mean, it's
Dun,
clear
dun,
that Black
dun.
is going through something, but I've not entirely put my finger on it. But after you made a good point,
It
he's
is
molting.
molting season.
He's molting. That's exactly what it
I
is.
saw a rested bird the other day and I was like, what? Oh, it's molting season. So
Wait, Black is molting?
Yeah, I think that might be it. It's an interesting time for
Metamorphosis.
I mean, you did just die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
So your
trauma.
feathers would be all fucked up.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
another thing is Black is about to be broke.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah. So
Crisis.
Black is going through things right now.
So
He's-
when Mara said she had more money than you, was that like a major blow?
well,
I
like
didn't have more money.
Ooh.
I had more than I could barter.
so Black at one point had over 9,000 gold.
Holy shit.
Uh,
Wow.
and has not gotten back to that dollar amount. So he's in bad shape.
How much did that beach vacation cost us, Black?
I don't remember, but at that point it wasn't a concern. That's why, like, when he turned on this 1,000 gold, it was like he was like, it's an interesting time for Black. We'll just put it that way.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know. I haven't decided. Well, there's so many. Black is an interesting. He's a head case, and so I haven't really. I've been kind of busy in real life, so I haven't had time to really sit down and kind of think about where he is. So that's why he's been quiet. I'm just kind of like keeping him in the background, like you know what I mean.
I
Mhm.
feel like you've lost your inspiration for the character of Bleck since you quit your job.
It's been yeah, because I don't have to daily deal with a CEO that is basically Black. Um, but also like I mean, yeah, there's kind of that, but also I feel like Black has also I'm trying to like be true to the fact that the dude died. He's losing all the money he gained. He's realizing he actually does kind of care about people. So like but I haven't decided if any of that's going to stick. So I don't know.
I'll also say for the rest of the party, just a little clarifying thing. The reason Black was able to get 9,000 gold is he was making very lucrative deals and he was offering to pay you guys like 25 gold, and you were like, yeah, sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
Mara was doing it all for free the entire time.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
I told people in the beginning, don't put Mara into your like party splits if you're making deals. Like
Yeah.
she'll pick up the stuff
You're
she
like
wants.
you're like the deal maker. I will say though, the third thing on Ice's to-do list is to strangle Black. I have another tally for every
Oh
time
no.
Black pisses Ice off also.
Now is it number 2 because you got rid of
No,
fight
it's
with
actually
Stella?
number three on the list. Number 2 was Stella and Ice.
Yeah, I feel like Strangle Black is on everybody's personal to-do list. It's
You know,
everybody.
as someone who's Eldritch blasted him, it's very satisfying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine probably just says shoot Blick instead.
I've decided.
That's
I
right.
think what I'm going to do with Black is I'm going to start. Like I haven't made it yet, but I'm gonna make a chart of like possible directions he could go based on certain catalysts, and then just literally I'm going to roll here in front of me. Because I feel like what he is at this point is he's unhinged, and I want to kind of like instead of trying to control unhinged, I want unhinged to be kind of a probability thing. So I'm gonna mess around with that and see, and because like my goal is either for him to rise back up and become a better bird or to die. So that's the and Dan's like
Black's curse is that he will never die.
yeah, that might be it. That might be the curse because now he's kind of like I mean, and if his past ever caught up with him, he'd be at this point. He at one point he would have been able to pay off his debts, and now he doesn't have enough money to pay off his debts again. It's hilarious. It's a fun little ride. Anyway, so that's why he's been so quiet, and he'll continue to be quiet because I don't feel like he's um, I don't feel like he's refound himself. And Dan, you make a good point. In real life, leaving my job kind of made it so that like I don't have the fuel that
Yeah.
I had.
You need to find another toxic boss to get
No, no, I'm good with that.
inspiration for D&D.
I'm good with that one. I'm not going to make that sacrifice again.
When you're self-employed, you're your own toxic boss.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
All
I
right,
like
guys.
that.
I'm gonna go for the evening. But
Have a good
yeah,
night.
Yeah.
thanks for the
No,
fun
So
time.
yeah, as far as in canon stuff, I was about to say We've transitioned to out of character stuff, so I'm gonna call the session as session proper as over. If people would like to keep chatting, that's cool, but the session itself is ended for tonight.
Oh, no.
Okay,
That's a
we're
good
still
stop
on the,
to it.
we're still on the same day that we started on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Man. 3 sessions, 1 day.
That sounds like a really cringy video.
I don't get
Oh.
it.
Oh.
I don't get it.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's
You don't
actually better
want
that you don't. It's
Yeah.
Oh, is
very
it
true.
like NSF?
You don't
No,
want to
you
get
guys
that.
explain it.
No,
explain it.
No,
Explain
no,
it
it's
nice.
okay.
I am kind of,
Let's not do that.
I am kind of excited that everyone's going to meet Justin. Like my worlds are colliding, and Ashley. Yeah,
I've met
all of you.
Justin.
Except for
And I've met
Nice.
Ashley actually. Ashley, I stopped by the Riviera for the food truck like right before COVID started, and I met you very, very, very briefly.
was this Thursday? Like the
It
Thursday?
was like one of the Thursday things back when we both
Yeah,
worked at Nichols.
yeah. The food truck
And I met
Thursday.
you like very, very briefly, and it was actually so cute because it was back when you guys like first started dating, and
Yeah, it
Matt was
was
all
like
like, "Oh my god, this girl is like so cool," and
you
he
got
showed
to
me
like
like
the
a
first month
picture,
when you
and
came
then
up
we got
like
tacos, and I
and they had
met
food trucks
you,
across the street.
and then I told Matt I was just like, "She's way too cool for you."
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right. It was right.
that was like
because
because I was only at Nichols for another.
truck thing. Oh, that's right.
I was only at Nichols for like another month and a half after we started dating.
Only a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a super cute date though, and I had beer.
Yeah, that's true. I was probably really stoned.
No, it's totally fine. I think I may have been too. No, wait, no, I probably didn't. But still, you were cool.
Yay! I hope I still
And
am.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that somehow Matt managed to keep you around for this long.
COVID.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
Are you prisoner?
Blink twice if you need help. Oh,
It's
wait, we don't have webcams.
it's funny because it's true. That's why everyone else was like, COVID sucks. I'm like, thank you, COVID.
Best year of my life, COVID.
So I can just imagine at your wedding, Matt going up and giving his speech. It's like, I'd like to thank COVID for the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't need a best man. I'm gonna be my own best man in the character of Black.
Oh, God. Are you just gonna like tear away your own wedding suit to have like an American flag tank top?
Except instead of American flag tank top, it's just like that poofy white shirt, like a la Seinfeld, like it's a pirate. And then
Oh my
like he puts
gosh.
on like an ornate like jacket over it. Brass feathers.
The funny thing is, like, I totally think Matt could pull it off.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. It's a little just like I'd have to really prep and kind of method act for a bit, but I could definitely crash my own wedding as Black. That would be.
That would be hilarious.
It might actually not have to happen. I don't think there's any other. I mean, sorry, Ash.
It's been manifested.
Is this how you're proposing to me? Because
Black can't afford a ring right now, so we're thinking. Oh, wait.
give
All
me
right.
a top.
Alright, I'm gonna sorry head out because I'm actually falling asleep.
Right,
Yeah,
good night.
Night,
have a
guys.
good night.
Oh, that's funny. Everyone head out too. Good night, everyone.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Good night.
Look forward to seeing you.